This is tough scene Cleveland, dude.
And now, Tough Scene Cleveland, starring Nick Wolf.
I am the Prince of Parma. I'm drinking right now, Def Jeff. This is not Moron Talk Hour.
Def Jeff.
I remember jamming with that guy when I was probably 15. I'm still waiting outside.
Don't trust Def Jeff at all.
And the best entertainment in Cleveland.
What's this about you? You cranking off a dude?
Jake the Snake at this point starts running Detroit Road.
Isn't punk rock, the best parts of butch gay culture?
Man, I want to be a good person here. Like, stop it.
He actually came up with this new t-shirt design for people that fuck up their life like Nick Wolf did.
Tough Scene Cleveland, here we are. Once again, Nick Wolf, Jeremy Shear.
Hi, everybody.
Def Jeff.
What's up, Nick?
You okay over there? He's running around the orbiting sphere of death, pounding stuff with hammers.
Checking the pneumatics.
Right, exactly. Just making sure everything is structurally sound here. We are orbiting. Tough Scene Cleveland takes place in a gigantic sphere that is orbiting in our atmosphere at all times. And Def Jeff, it takes a lot of work to get it running.
A lot of rocket fuel.
Right, plutonium, rocket fuel, things like that. And it's not easy to come by anymore. I mean, Libya and Syria are just in turmoil. You can't get a good plutonium dealer anymore. We got Jeremy Shear's going to be with us a little bit tonight. Chris Clem is coming in a few minutes. Great comedian. Very excited to have him on. We're going to talk about all the stuff he's been up to and the stuff he's doing. He was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That's awesome.
So
he didn't win though, obviously.
What?
He's coming here, right?
Well, he did. He actually, we'll talk about that. He won $100,000 from what I read. If my research is correct, Def Jeff. Now you understand, and I'm sure our listeners do know at this point, maybe our research and our planning department in some certain areas what we do is not always flawless, but we are a work in progress.
If we had $100,000, we could do a lot more.
Right, we should try to shake him down. He don't really like that. He got married and stuff and says he lost out wrestling. We'll get into that in a minute with Chris Clem when he gets here. But Jeremy Shear's got to run. He's got some gigs. He is a hardworking comedian.
Yeah, he's gigging a couple times a week?
Yeah, he's all over the place. He's in New Philadelphia. He looks really bad. I don't think he got any sleep. Let's see how he's been keeping himself up.
He survived the last show.
Well, yeah, it was a rough show, and we'll talk to Jeremy about that in a minute. We had mechanics of things here, and I love Paul. He's a good friend, and it was cool talking to him, but we'll get into that in a minute also. Another thing, it is, if you're listening to this right now, actually, we made it. We're still alive.
Haha.
Or if you're not listening to this right now, that's because the world's been obliterated. We're doing this show right now. I will break the fourth wall.
We're safe, though. We're in the orbiting sphere.
We're in the orbiting sphere of death. We're watching you guys and waving. Piss off.
If the world ends, we'll just listen to this.
I never thought about that, Def Jeff. You totally cheered me up.
Oh, dude, we're safe. That's
totally
why do you think
safe.
I designed the orbiting sphere?
What will we gravitate around? Or will we become the new Earth? Will we take its gravitational pull?
I'm not sure. We're going to have to find out.
Thus stopping the universe from compressing and just being wiped out.
What if the whole thing's our fault? What if the orbiting sphere loses its fucking rocket fuel and we crash into the Earth and it explodes?
We should have thought more about things like quantum physics before we started messing around with stuff like this. That's why we were condemned by the NASA Lewis Research Center and actually told never to do what we are doing.
They didn't approve of
Parma's been trying to shoot us down, but the government won't let them have an Air Force. Rightly so, because they'll also use it on the blacks too, and we can't have that.
No.
They don't know how to use their weapons. It would be bad news. Can't give the Italians and the Ukrainians.
No.
They already have enough weapons. That's another big story. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it's not a comedy thing, but I do want to say Tough Scene Cleveland, our hearts and wishes goes out to everybody in Connecticut that was affected by the brutal school shootings. I mean, one of the most horrible things ever.
It's fucking terrible. Yeah. It's been a depressing week.
It's been rough, and we're all waiting. Everyone's talking about the world ending, and
this didn't help.
And I guess I want to get into something sort of important here, and maybe I will in a few minutes. But gun control. It seems like they're really pushing it now. That we're going to have, to the point where they're going to do something with automatic weapons. I believe everyone should have weapons. It's fine. But, if maniacs can get their hands on machine guns and stuff, that's a problem that we have. So Jimmy Shear, Chris Clem just walked in. Chris, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. See, right on the spot. We don't mess around here. We're just doing our intro real quick. We're going to talk about then I just want to say, to all the families, we're not going to talk about it any more than just saying, our, best wishes and our hearts go out to all of you. And it's a horrible thing none of us can imagine.
Yeah.
Except for your father.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even understand.
Did
what
you?
it
And
would
how do
be
you
like.
explain that to your kids?
I tried not to, honestly.
Turn all the TVs off in the house.
I just tried to avoid it, but they
We're
heard about it.
Amish from now on. There'll be no information coming in or out.
The power just went.
Right.
But no, they, he heard about it at school.
Right.
Obviously, and they did lockdown drills in school to get ready for something like this.
And that's the thing when all the tornado drills seem like nothing. Like, give me 50 tornadoes instead of one maniac with a automatic weapon.
Yeah, and a box of bullets.
Well, I mean, after Columbine, the cops came to my house because they thought that I was leading the next one. And it turned out that my ex-girlfriend had a shotgun in her trunk, and they arrested her that day. So
wow.
It was...
You're on a pro... Wow, you really cause trouble everywhere you go.
It turns out profiling does work.
And then we got some news stories. We're going to do a quick humanity review also up on the show. If this is the end of the world and you're listening to us from the orbiting sphere of death, well, you're all dead and not listening.
Your ghosts are listening.
Then it doesn't matter. But if the world goes on, I at least want to take this chance to sum up what's gone on so far. Every show has a year in review. We're Tough Scene Cleveland. We go bigger than that. It's the history of mankind in review. In our short, informative, the way we do it, there'll be no actual research or knowledge giving at all from this.
So this is Humanity in Review according to the Huffington Post, then.
Exactly. Well, I have my sources. Also, the news, some big stories. Super Mario has gone nuts. He's groping chicks. He needs to be stopped. We need Bowser right away. George Nari from Coast to Coast says the world's not going to end, so I feel like all this stuff's just hype and bullshit. The hippies are taking over once again.
Oh, no.
It's getting bad. So we'll be back here with the news, and also Chris Clem and Jeremy Shear for a little bit while until you have to,
run off and go. I have to get off the orbiting sphere of death. Do you know how hard it is to get a guest on the orbiting sphere of death when we're already running things here?
And we have to shoot the shuttle down, and
Space Dog drives it.
Yeah,
Space Dog's the worst driver.
Well, we used to have his Def Jeff's youngest kid Trent do it, but he would lose interest halfway through, and people would be stranded halfway in the atmosphere. It's bad news.
Well, Space Dog just does it for treats, so at least there's that.
So, all right, Tough Scene Cleveland, we'll be back. Tough Scene Cleveland on YouTube and Aircheck. All right, Tough Scene Cleveland, we're back. And before we get going with anything, Jeremy, I want to talk to you really quick about last week, and I want to apologize to you, I guess, or just kind of make light of it, really.
That works.
Our guests last week, and I didn't know until today, the Mechanics of Things were on. They're a band. A couple of them are my friends. Their drummer, ML, he's a guy I met a few times. He's an all right dude. He's cool to hang out with. I thought he was a really good dude. It's cool. Hang out. Come on down. Drinking
lots of beers.
Right. One thing, and if you listen, I'm sorry, it wasn't the best interview in the world. But sometimes you're going to have that. These are musicians. They don't always know how to really talk the best. But one thing I didn't realize, so Jeremy, you're sitting, I'm not too articulate, Chris Clem. I just kind of spit out the words. I have a broad thought of what I want to say, and I spit it out into 3 words. I like how
you distilled it down to that.
So it turns out our good friend, while you're sitting, Jeremy, Shear, across from looking, what do you spy on him?
I look on his arm, and there's a giant SS tattoo on his arm. To match his shirt that says, "What about the good things Hitler did?" and his little iron cross that he was wearing around his neck.
So that makes me think something about myself, because I'm totally blind to overt racism and anti-Semitism like that. I don't even notice that at all. I'm worried about him burping and ripping up cans. That's what really pissed me off. I didn't realize.
I was worried I was going to have to call for bail because, the last time that something like that happened, I was out in the rain and some guy was calling me a kike for about a half an hour while I was on stage, and I was calling around for bail. Fortunately, I found a girl that sold mushrooms, so that got me out of the situation with a smile on my face.
Not going to jail can always be a first plan. Yeah. You really want to make a name for yourself legally in every county and state, right?
Yeah, that's my goal.
Be on some sort of list.
I'm going to make more fans in prison than I am outside of it, so...
So I didn't realize, that was weird. I apologize for that. This is Palm Brooklyn, though. We're going to have a lot of people that are kind of going to be like that, I guess, from time to time.
I wasn't worried, once he started talking and then he was just like, oh, you're Jewish, now I'm going to make fun of you instead of beat you up, then I wasn't so worried.
Right, ridicule. Once it goes to ridicule, you're okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, we're going to talk really cool. We'll start our humanity review, and Chris Clem, do you believe in any of this world-ending crap?
I will say, when I first found out about it, I was 12 in Spanish class. It was before the internet or anybody else told me. A Spanish teacher said we were going over the Mayan calendar, and she said that a lot of people think that the world's going to end in 2012 because that's what the Mayans said, but some people disagree on that. And I never really was too scared about it. It was always in the back of my head. I'm a big paranormal buff, always listening to Coast to Coast.
Right. Fringe.
Yeah. But then last year I visited some of the ruins, and all the actual Mayans there were
so you actually really kind of...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Got into it, yeah. You, You researched it yourself.
I was in Mexico, and I'm like, I need to see some ruins, and we went to Tulum. It was one of their last cities that they had, and the guy that was there, he's like, I'm Mayan, the tour guy, and he's like, I'm having a party here, and then he's trying to sell people on it, $500 tickets and stuff. But he's like, I don't think the world's gonna end.
$500 for to shoot DMT into your eyeballs.
I would be down for that.
Chris Clem, uncovering the secrets of the world. Some guy said the world's not going to end.
I trust him. He had a thick accent, so he was very tan.
So that's today. That's reputable. Trust it. That's good.
Although it might have all been a mistake because I also banged my head on a tree branch walking into the place, so it could have all been a hallucination.
It was a dream.
When they say people were smaller back then, they weren't kidding. The hole was 3 feet tall, and I was ducking down to get
he's
through.
7 feet.
And right when I stood up, I just banged my head right on the tree branch.
Well, I think, anytime you take a prognostication from a group of people, it doesn't help their credibility when they're extinct.
Oh, I agree.
Didn't you see that? Could you guys do some quick change, somewhere around the way?
No, we're not worried about us. We're worried about you. We're looking out for you guys.
So, right, exactly. Our white conquerors, here's a warning that we will give to you.
I like that you're doing humanity in review, because I'm sure 400 years from now, after this world is a cindering piece of rock floating through space, some ancient, or I guess it wouldn't be ancient, an alien archaeologist is going to find this.
Yes, and
they're
know
going to be
exactly.
Nick Wolf must have been the emperor of Earth.
That's kind of what I'm begging for, because that's the closest chance I have to any sort of fame ever is in an alternate timeline.
They'll also think DC Comics ripped off your merch.
Right, exactly. And Chris, and we'll get into this when we talk to you, but you are a big wrestling and comic book fan.
Oh, yeah. I got to say right now, you have my prized fourth, when I was 4 years old, my Christmas gift right behind you. That was...
the Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dev Chef takes very good care of things.
Oh, nice.
It ended up in my mom's basement for 25 years, and one day she's like, you got to get this shit out of here.
Oh, man.
And I went down, and that was what was down there.
That's in pristine condition stuff.
Yeah, a lot of missing pieces, but...
Yes, in the gallery are the Orchestra of Death by the Shark Tank, CJ's Beard, Sassy Steph's bra. There is the Ghostbusters house, too.
Yes, it's in an encapsulated CO2 tank.
It's the real house.
It's floating.
It's not very polite to have Peter Venkman resting in Sassy Steph's bra, though.
Right. That's where Peter Venkman would want to be. Come on.
You do have a point.
That particular Peter Venkman's eyes pop out, too. So.
Oh, nice.
And what if it does end like that Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and that kind of thing? All right, if there's one thought, if the world's ending, you can't think of thought, Jeremy Shear, what would you...
How would I want the world to end, or how do I think it's going to end?
Yeah, if you had a way to let the world end in a,
it's up to you.
Kosher way that you'd approve.
Yeah.
Let's see. How would I want the world to end? I'd want to kill everybody personally. I would like to go door to door and start stabbing people in the throat, and no one will be able to stop me. It might take a while, but you
got a day. You need speedy. We're all getting massacred here.
Yeah.
Is this Tough Scene
Massacre? Start with us.
I think you need to get to Teams in Berea real quick, Jeremy Shear. It's gonna be a great show tonight, Berea. Get out.
Yeah.
It's not on Bagley though, so no one's gonna know where the hell it is. How do you sit in Berea that's not on Front Street or Bagley?
I have no idea.
It's a mess.
Mary Santoro, who's in my sketch group, works there, so that's how we even found out this place exists. So.
I'll tell Jimmy from Berea he'll come down. But,
Jeremy Shear kills unsuitable language. It's my Simply Tim impression.
so I guess we should start off in the humanity review. We'll do two things, and then we'll get away from that for a second. We'll do the news. Actually, we'll talk to Chris Clem. See, on the spot, I'm booking this, and I'm getting it going.
Look at that. The format sheet is changing on the fly.
Yeah. I'm scribbling all over the place. I can't even read my writing right now. Also, real quick, I want to say, and I almost forgot, Dev Jeff will be live tweeting my thoughts here.
Oh, yeah.
As I guess if I have something great, a great thought, Dev Jeff will live tweet it. Our 4 followers at Toasting Cleveland at Twitter.
We got nothing yet, though.
Right? So it starts off, I guess. I'm gonna say the dinosaurs and all that. We're not gonna talk about any of that.
Well, they're not humans.
Right, they can't talk for themselves. I don't want to defame any Tyrannosauruses or Dilophosaurs. If there's no, if they have no representation, it's not fair.
You don't know what their culture might have been.
Right, exactly. And I don't believe in science necessarily all the way either. There's some shit that might totally, maybe there's like 4 different dinosaurs, but at some point they got like really cool. And I think the guys just got bored and started assembling shit the way they wanted to.
The more of these we design, the more toys they can make for kids to buy the different dinosaurs.
Well, in the Museum of Natural History in New York, there is a display that says, for 70 years, this is what we thought it was, and then we found a box of missing bones, and this is what it is now. And they have what it really is and what they thought it was on 2 different sides of the room. And it's like, how much of this stuff could be like that?
Like, we don't need this crap. These rest of these bones are getting in the way.
It looked completely different, too. Like, the head was completely different spot.
Oh, my goodness.
And now they say they all have feathers.
Right.
So it like changes every 10 years. Oh, yeah, dinosaurs could fly, too, all of them.
Right.
It's never going to be an exact science when it's like 70 million years old.
Right. And Jurassic Park came out and they totally changed the whole theory of everything, just to suit a movie. If it didn't, in my case, if it didn't happen before 1979, I don't know that it wasn't just a hoax. Up until that point, what's really going on? At TV, because all I have is TV records.
Musician.
Right, exactly. But, so let's start with the Roman Empire. And the way I look at the Roman Empire was it was a good group of people. It's basically exactly, we kind of went in a circle. It's pretty much, without the iPods and everything else and the shitting in the streets, and, it's pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah.
They invented the Roman shower.
Right.
Which is very important.
Yes.
If you've never puked on a stripper, that is something that you need to do before the world ends.
Right, that was like Claudius, right? Or Nero, or what one of those maniacs.
I believe it was Caligula.
Caligula! I'm sorry. That's probably... See, I gotta get my Roman emperors in order. My whole idea of the... what is it called? The Claudio Caesar dynasty or whatever they were fucking called?
Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
Caligula is a good guess considering the movie version was half porn.
Right. So, and they partied a little bit too hard, and the problem is they got involved in, I think, too many other countries' policies and controlling too many other countries, and their borders got weakened, and they started being attacked. What does that sound like?
Yep.
Yeah, it was amazing when somebody actually drove a flaming carriage into Rome and hit their biggest building, and then everything went to hell.
Right, and now it's lame. Rome's total pussies. Used to be fear their armies, and now it's all about just eating food and gondoling through the goddamn streets and being lazy every other European.
And having very, very corrupt officials that have orgies in public.
Well, yeah, there's a church. Yeah, yes.
I wonder if their officials had reptoid rumors about them, too.
But humanity did some very good things at that point. They created... by the time we had fire and stuff like that, we learned to ask sex. That was very big. Really happened around that period. That changed the world.
Learning to have sex.
Yeah, was there learning involved?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think there's a slight
I think their
learning
natural
curve.
instinct is to fuck everything. So.
But to do it the right way and defined ways so that you can seem classy.
I remembered you guys swearing, but just
sure.
you
can say whatever you'd like to. Chris Clem will be saying awful things, so if you have any taste of your
I
ears.
know exactly what Chris is going to say. Mark Manolio. Over and over and over again.
Mark Manolio. That's not a bad word here, though.
Okay.
So it was a great party, and then there was these group of people. Jimmy Shear, you know them pretty well. while, your ancestors came along and started whining about everything because the Romans wanted to control their government, and, control them as a people and subjugate them. Blah,
they
blah,
wanted
blah.
us to stop learning Hebrew, and
Right.
they wanted us to, be stupid like the rest of the empire.
So you created your own rebel, your own like cool guy, your CM Punk of history, Jesus, who totally changed everything and fucked the Romans' whole party up. But the Romans had a little bit of revenge in mind for Jesus. They got him up on the stake thanks to your people.
Yeah.
It was a swerve. That was the first actual swerve job. We're gonna talk. We might as well talk just being true
Talk about
wrestling
driving the
dorks
bus,
here.
yeah.
This
Jesus
sounds more
Christ
like
Punch,
the
yeah.
Undertaker angle.
Yeah.
So
Scott Levy
Crucify
was
you.
booking the Roman Empire at the time.
So then there became self-guilt and
Kurt Angle was so ashamed of what happened he couldn't be mentioned with it ever again.
he said he would walk out if they didn't stop. And not to air it or he was going to sue him.
I wonder if that's what the commentators referred to it as, like, my God, Jesus is going up on his very own logo.
Could you almost hear JR at the crucifixion? He's pounding it in his hand. Stop it already.
My God, that man can't take anymore.
Damn you, Pontius Pilate! Damn you to hell!
And then right when it's erecting, you just hear the headphones smack down on the table.
So Jesus was a major downer and ruined the whole Roman Empire. But he died for his sins. For mine, Dev Chav's, Chris Clem. Not for Jeremy's.
No.
They're still waiting.
ML's going to come after him.
Maybe ML can die for my sins.
And then, the Roman Empire went on for a while and crashed, and there were the Dark Ages. And that was a real bad time for us, I would say. Kind of a bummer.
Yeah, there was disease, and there was no literacy, which maybe you should have listened to us. That was the big part of Jewish culture. You're not allowed to be an adult until you can read.
Well, we should listen to more precautions. See, you guys are so precautious about everything. It's like we should give and take. We got to know
We've been
where
trying
the
to kill the
Jews-
brown people over there for a while now, and you all are just now starting to catch on.
There are some positive uses for neuroses.
So, but in the Dark Ages, we went to we were finally using what was the final bronze weapons and stuff like that, and kind of stuff's coming around like gunpowder and stuff and Asia and shit. And we learned to kill, and that's really, I think, when it comes to mankind and our ability to kill, the Dark Ages did have a good era, a good feel, but the partying was down. There was no ass sex going on because you worry about AIDS now. Imagine the plague; it just turns green and falls off right after you come. That's no party at
least
all.
you can't get AIDS from a rat.
Right, that's true.
Well, a different kind
You
of
know
rat.
what? I think that's actually how the plague started, is somebody fucked a rat, and then it just spread throughout serfdom.
And that's what's getting close to now, man. Nowadays, the lords are called Walmarts and
Right.
McDonald's.
We are kind of like in a modern Dark Ages. You don't really learn your mistakes until your whole world, millions of people have been wiped out. And maybe when everyone just has a simultaneous heart attack all at once throughout the nation, they'll we'll finally change how we do things. In the Dark Ages, it was about not shitting in the streets and drinking out of places that you shat, and not piling your dead upon dead upon dead upon dead.
Yeah, that's generally a bad idea.
Yeah, eventually, we just need all the smokers like myself and all of us, I think, to all just cough up a lung and have a heart attack from a cheeseburger all at once, and that might be what will change humankind and or at least make us so less fat and disgusting.
The diabetes rate is skyrocketing in this country, and there are millions of people in nursing homes missing feet, and we still haven't changed. Maybe if they all died at once, that'll be the end of the Mayan calendar, is the end of all fat people with diabetes, and they all die at once.
Now you mention it, I can't feel my right foot.
Well, Chris Clem, I've heard, and this is through some of the things I've heard from watching your stuff. You've gained some weight lately, right? That's everyone rips on you for being fat. You're a big dude. You're not fat or nothing.
Yes,
Although I
he
saw
is.
the one video you were the gay for Stallone when you were, I don't know if you'd get away. You'd be more of a bear now, and less of a twink that you were in that video.
I gained over 100 pounds since I started comedy.
So it's comedy that's done it to you?
Oh yeah.
Well, many other things, but that's the
So Jeremy
constant.
Shear still looks
yeah.
like a crackhead. So
Well, I put on 70 pounds of comedy weight. So I mean,
It's really hard to be fit when you're staying out all night and you're drinking all the time and you're eating bar food, but
yeah, Dwayne Duke's already
not
gained.
So it's not because you
for it.
feel jollier and, now that you're plumper, right? You're not more
God,
jovial.
now I was in better shape and flexible, and now I hurt just walking. It's not good.
And every 3 lines of your act is...
He has to bring a towel up on stage.
I can't do act outs unless I want to just breathe heavily for the next 5 minutes, because that's what happens.
So
I'm getting out of breath right now, actually.
these are the dark ages for Chris Clem. You like that
Yes.
segue right there?
Yeah,
All
look
right.
at
We're going to leave off there. Coming up next in the history of Humanity Review, English, Spanish, French come along and totally, really up the way we kill each other and fuck, which is really what it's all about, I think, in humanity.
Killing
and fucking. Yeah.
Then we'll get to America and a bunch of really things get really funny after that. But coming up next, we'll talk to Chris Clem. We'll do like an interview kind of thing, and we'll do the news. He can sit in with us. Jeremy Shear's gonna be around for a little bit longer, right?
A little bit longer.
Got to get the teams in Bria.
Yep.
Teams with the Z.
Z. Yeah, it's
That's why you know it's funky fresh.
So Tough Scene Cleveland, we'll be back. And now 3 men that aren't allowed in the city of Independence. Tough Scene Cleveland. All right, Tough Scene Cleveland. We're back. Nick Wolf, Jeremy Shear.
hi people.
Yep, Jeff.
Yo.
And we're with Chris Clem.
Greetings.
And we'll talk to you in a second. We're gonna sit down and find out what makes Chris Clem tick as a person. We're gonna talk about wrestling and comics, basically.
It's
the whole
what
thing.
makes him tick is Dunkin' Donuts big and tasty.
That's actually what's making me not tick.
That's making the tick get a little bit slower and slower and
Day
slower.
by day.
Def Jeff, get our medical, our shock panels, our defibrillator, just in case. Because the zero gravity can be very tough on someone that's heavier. If Chris Clem has a problem, I want you to bring him back, okay?
My
That's
joints
actually-
feel better, though.
Chris, don't worry, he's trained. Not in CPR, he's trained as a sheet metal worker, but it all works. Really quick, though, I gotta get a quick plug for January 22nd. It was called Cleveland Music Farce. I've decided it's gonna be called Tough Scene Cleveland's Night of Icons.
Night of Icons.
Because it's a big night. It's getting bigger by the second. The bands we have, Fuck You Pay Me, which is Tony Urba. Hardcore legend Tony Urba is his final war on music. He's been playing forever. He's been in great bands. At this point, he knows what he's going to do for his rest of his life. He's got his shit together. And, he's got one last final kind of fuck you to say to music. And this is it. It's Aaron from from the Nick Wolf Band, and Steve Callahan and Justin from Signal 30. Or, I'm
They're
sorry,
all really
Radio
talented
Silence.
guys. Yeah, they're all really good.
So it's going to be great. It's going to be their first show. Also, another icon doing their first show. It's almost 100%, but Zit Squatch. Steve Eggs is long-awaited noise band. This is the third. They've been around they've jammed 3 times. They have 3 albums out. They get released the next day. And
So no Nut Screamer. This is going to be Zit
Squatch. This is his actual band with Poopy from Sockeye, legendary.
Nice.
I forget what. And Dr. Bitch, he's also in. A million other bands too. So I think we're gonna get them on. We're like zeroing in on it. And also the Dead Enders, good friends. Then Jeremy Shear, comedians. Thank you. You did a great job.
We got Dr. Andy Meredith, who was our guest last week. We got Jesse Allison. Actually, you know what? I'm not sure if Jesse Allison. He might have one of his friends from Cincinnati come in and replace him.
I'll have someone else show up.
Yeah, I have to talk to him about that. But we have from the Circle of Hate, which is the Cleveland open micer podcast of record. John Hoffner, who hosts the Touch Supper Club Tuesday night mic. We have Dan Brown, host of Vloggeria on Thursday nights at Saxonheim, and T.M. Francis making his triumphant return from hip surgery. He is 7 years younger than me and somehow needed an artificial hip because he drinks too much. It is I can't believe it, but yeah, he'll be
You need to speed it up, Cher.
yeah, I know. I still have both my hips. I feel inadequate.
You're very spry. You're way more spry than you should be.
Yep. All I have is cases. I'm not losing organs or hips or nothing.
Night of Icons, Tough Scene Cleveland. It's at Now This Class. It's a free show to get in. We're going to do the podcast. We're going to have the comedians, the band. It's not not going to be like, we're going to start at about 9, and it's going to move quick. Yep. And, maybe 11:30, it's not going to be an all-night thing. So just come out, spend the evening with us. It's our 1-year anniversary to the day of our first podcast. So, and also my birthday. So it's going to be a great time. We'll be partying. We're going to be having
We'll be recording the show, too.
Right, and we'll be doing the show, and we want to have the live audience, and maybe, see who's there, who's, hanging out. And last time we did a thing at Now That's Class, we did our podcast in the basement. Yeah. And it was great. We had a lot of people come out, and it was fun. We got a lot of good interviews with people we wouldn't otherwise. So
and excellent phone calls.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Chris Clem, how you doing, man? We already talked to you a little bit here, but now we're gonna shine the spotlight. Jeff, get the spotlight. We actually do have a spotlight. That thing is very arcane. That you get tortured
Total
under that.
80s, like Ronald Reagan designed that, I think.
Mow!
So, Chris Clem,
That's like butcher shop garage.
is it safe?
That was an inside joke. Jeremy Shearer, you're going to get fined. Wait, listen, we're going to have these comedians on. You guys can't be doing your comedian code here.
No. Is it safe? It's a Marathon Man reference. It's not an inside joke. All right. No. The only inside joke
I guess I need to catch up on my references a little bit better.
I'm trying to think of a Red Dawn, not Red Dawn, Red Heat reference, but I can't. Jim Belushi.
Yeah. No, the only inside joke so far has been Mark Manolio, and that's the last time we'll do that.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it doesn't cause you to stress, so there's no reason to bring it up.
So, Chris, I guess the first thing I have here, the first notable thing, I'm sure you get asked about.
I like that you actually have notes. That's impressive.
I'm a professional. I can't read them. It's all symbols and scribbles. You were on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yep.
When was that?
Oh, a little over 2 years ago.
And it's
wow, that's hard to believe, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you won $100,000.
Yep.
How much of that is left after 2 years?
None.
Well, what do you get? Do you get
I got about 70,000.
Okay.
After taxes.
I got all of it at once, but I had to pay the taxes myself.
Okay, all right.
So
that sucks.
Walking away was 70.
Right. And even though you're getting 70, it's got to suck right at 30. Like they make you write the $30,000
Oh
check.
yeah, that's the worst part because you have the $100,000 in your bank account.
Then you start thinking, well, maybe I can somehow turn this around and just pay it at tax time.
No, that is what happened though, because I had the year before I was unemployed and I made almost nothing, so there was no record of me having. Because the year after that, I had to pay my taxes over
few years.
Yeah, but it was nothing, so it was $10, and $10. This year I didn't have to now, yeah.
You really went from one end to the other.
Well, they expect that, so it's oh, he paid $30,000, we're going to get some money. Oh, no, we're not.
Was this the old Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No, it was actually the first of the new Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, because when they first got Meredith Vieira, it was the same setup as with Regis.
Right.
But I was on the year where they got rid of the chair and you were standing up at a table, and I think that probably helped me get on, to be honest.
Was that where now when I watch it, you the categories, you get a question but you don't know how much it's worth?
Yeah, that was the first year of that.
Okay.
Yeah, which actually totally fucked me over because I got nervous and I wasted my lifelines.
Yeah. Well, and that's got to be the problem with that. And the lifelines are a lot less than the original one. It seems like that's what I noticed on that show is they go through whatever, but way before they get to the hard questions.
If you have any doubt about a question, you don't know that question could be worth $30,000.
Exactly.
So it's I'm 99% sure, but I'm going to use it because that could be $30,000.
Right. It makes it more difficult to pass on it.
Because the first round is $60,000, I think, or it's $70,000 if you get every question answered, and then that jumps to $100,000. And the second round's like the old show,
right?
$100,000, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million.
Right.
So, and what was the question you went out on?
What country represents the United States' interests in North Korea? Do you want the options?
Yeah, let me try to see if I could.
Austria, Sweden, Ireland, or Italy?
Nah, I don't think of any of those countries as really being relevant. I'll say Austria, just because I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go with Austria too.
It was Sweden.
And all right,
and the worst part about it is that there was 2 questions, and that was one of them that were in Newsweek, literally the week. Which I wonder if this is why they wrote them, because they saw it in there. There's that and a thing about Frida Kahlo that I passed on, and there was a thing about how Sweden, the United States can't depend on them to keep doing this, and they got to decide whether they're going to negotiate with them or cut off all ties.
Wow.
So I knew it in the back of my
balls on us.
head, and I was like, but I don't know, and I would get 25,000, and that's 75,000 less, so I'll just take the 100 grand.
So you just walked away. I love that. Only American game shows, like, it's like, oh, no, I don't want to answer more. Give me my 100,000. You can go ahead, just take it. You don't actually have to win. Just get pretty far. The Browns should get a Super Bowl trophy just for making it to the AFC Championship years ago. I've heard some of your views on the Browns, actually, and I agree with you a lot. I love the one thing I heard you say, you're like, everyone thinks we're going to get a dome stadium. That's not going to happen.
No.
And could you imagine if we did, though? Not only could we get a Super Bowl, which would be pretty cool, we could get Mania. Fans would love to do it here.
I was more excited about that because let's face it, that's more likely to happen than the Super Bowl.
Right. And fuck it, I'd rather have Mania any day.
Yeah, me too. Oh, that would be a dream come true.
And they have a rich history with us. I think if we had something like that, they would. I mean,
it used to be
Survivor
Richfield.
Series in the Richfield Coliseum. Even some of they kind of have a history of big show, like Cleveland shows, kind of being bigger shows when they had the night after WrestleMania shows that were huge.
Oh, yeah.
And they've always kind of. So I think if we had something, but
the first Survivor Series was in Richfield
Coliseum,
Yep.
and
There were a
then
lot of bad
92
seats there,
also. yeah.
Well, nowadays they only do Mania at at least 70,000 seaters.
Right,
so.
exactly. You can't get away with this isn't WrestleMania 12 where it could be at or in the teens where it could be at just a regular.
We're at the old Boston Garden for WrestleMania 14 because we don't know for sure if this is going to last or not.
Right, exactly. Just got to do it now, which was a great WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That was when I got back into wrestling. That was I think the WrestleMania that got me back in the WWE.
I got a lot of people into it because that's when they overtook WCW with the Tyson and Austin HBK.
Right,
angle.
exactly. Right. That was and the whole NWO thing was falling apart completely.
Yeah, they
and just
totally
ran its course.
booked that into hell, and they had one chance to end it off and get it going again, and they totally fucked that up.
Right. Well, speaking and that sounds a lot like the Cleveland Browns, and a lot of people would say that this might be will Jimmy Haslam be our Eric Bischoff and get us
Who is the next member of the Cleveland Browns? Tune into WKNR and find out next week.
Brandon will be screaming about it.
As long as he does not bring in Mongo as a co-owner. We're replacing Doug Deacon with the only commentator that would be worse, Mongo McMichael.
So, but Jimmy Haslam has a chance, and it's really to the point. I mean, kind of our last hope here as Cleveland fan, as Browns fans. And you're a longtime Browns fan, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually, I vividly, which is sad because I was 4, but I vividly remember going to a Browns game at the old Cleveland Stadium, and most of my memories there are actually bad, and not because of the sports teams, but one time my parents took us to an Indians game, and my parents got into a screaming match about buying a bucket of fried chicken, and it was the most awkward thing ever. And my dad ended up screaming at my mom and dropping us off and storming away in the car. So it's a lot of bad memories there.
When you think memories like that, does that make you want some chicken?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is my mom's like, well, let's get a bucket of fried chicken and bring it in. And he's like, all right. And then she's like, I don't know if this is going to be enough once we were there. And then he's like, God damn it. And he started screaming at her.
He was just mad because I can't feed my fat son with this little chicken.
The Clem family just goes ballistic over mundane, normal things.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that is true. We do go ballistic over mundane things. It's so funny. All these people that don't know me, all these new comics getting started, are like, man, you're so laid back. And I was like, I so wish that was true. I'm just not letting you guys see who I am.
Your sister, your mother, your brother, your wife.
Yeah, I'm exactly the opposite.
So you are married. You got, I'm sorry, Def Jeff.
Oh, I was just going to say, I have a bad memory, sort of from childhood associated with the old stadium. My dad's the one who got hit by Albert Bell when he threw the ball.
This is
shit! Are you serious?
I was sitting right next to him. Yeah.
Yeah, the famous, and this to our fans, our viewers, the famous. We've all, if you're Cleveland, you've heard about Albert Bell, Joey Bell. Albert Bell was being heckled by a fan and threw a baseball, and that was Def Jeff's dad. That's not bullshit.
Good
that's
job,
not
Dad.
shtick.
Did that,
He has to live
did
with
that freak you out, or were you like, that's awesome because you made Albert Bell so mad he threw a baseball at you?
You know, I was like 11, so I didn't know exactly what was going on.
Okay.
My dad was drunk and just shouting out, you know. he actually, you know, he screamed out to him, "Hey, Joey, keg party at my house after the game." And he had just, like, changed his name and was trying to clean the shit up.
That was like his first year as Albert, right?
Yeah, I think it was, actually.
The only way that story would be better is if you were the trick-or-treater he ran over in his car.
Yeah, didn't he run those
Coming
kids
for
down?
your family, motherfucker.
So yeah, that is, and that's not even bullshit. That's Dev Chef. That is, you are an enigma, Dev Chef.
Yeah.
Like,
guess.
I just say awesome and cool, but when I do decide to talk, I just drop a major story.
The thing is, when you're 11, though, that's probably like just the fact that your dad was yelling at him probably was embarrassing. And
Oh, yeah, it was.
you're like, stop! Because I could just imagine my dad drunk in public back in the day.
Well, he didn't
That was
swear
bad.
until after the ball hit him, and then he went off.
Can you?
I can't even
I
repeat it.
wonder a certain word. I bet you a certain word came out
Yeah,
many
that
times.
starts with an N. Yeah,
Not so nice guy?
yeah. You're
Not
not
allowed
so
to
nice
say
guy.
that
I'm
word.
gonna
I'm
sue
not allowed
you.
to say that word. That's what I use it as. That's what the N word means to me.
Then the whole ride home, he was like just shouting out the window at everybody he could shout at.
Just
My
going
dad,
ballistic.
he's like, "Albert Bell just threw a ball at me," for like 20 minutes. We just kept driving around downtown so he could keep shouting.
That should have been in Major League too. That's
It was funny, yeah.
Wow, we derailed.
that was before the game started, right? Or was it during the game?
Seventh inning.
Oh, okay.
They made new rules about selling beer at the stadium because of my dad.
It really changed the
It
face.
stops at the seventh inning now.
Your dad is a Cleveland icon, much like how
Kind of.
they changed the rules in every stadium for beer bottles after
Right.
Browns fans
Across
threw all
the
those
world.
bottles.
Yeah. So, yes, Dev Chef's family changing the way Clevelanders live their lives. Mr. Dev.
Ruining it.
Ruined it.
Now I have to really hide my flask for the 7th inning
Yeah.
stretch.
And the sad thing is that is the only good thing about the Browns games. It does feel like the old Browns. I've been to a couple games. It really, the rowdiness, other than like the second half where you're not allowed to, they don't stop selling booze, but like pregame and all that, like you would think it was still the 80s because people still go crazy. I mean,
That's why it's going to be a while before you really, like, I'm hoping Haslam will do it, but it's going to be a while before an owner really does anything. When you have the worst team, and there was an article about in Sports Illustrated a few years ago, you have the worst team over the last decade in the NFL in terms of win percentage.
Right.
You also have the highest attendance record in the NFL. The exact two opposites, and that has not changed. There's no incentive to put a good quality product on the field.
Right.
and that's where you gotta get someone with an ego, like how Dallas had Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Someone that really wants to be, or like someone that wants to be Jerry Jones, basically wants to be
Well,
known
they
for their
just-
team.
They just hired one of Jerry Jones' right-hand men to run the business side of the organization.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that was yesterday. What was his name?
I don't know. It was
Dev
a
Sheffield.
little Hebrew.
I'll Google that tomorrow.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name.
I want to
but
say Shiner.
We'll know
but
his
yeah,
name.
it's
Something like that.
something with an SH.
Alex Shiner. I
We'll
think.
know his name week 3 of next year when we're demanding that he gets fired.
It's basically the only good move Holmgren made was Heckert as GM, and he's going to be gone now because they hired Banner and then they hired this guy. It's like, how many new front office guys do they need before it's like, you're gone?
That's when you think about it, like, you're looking for coaches, and the one kind of thing that always comes up that we're afraid of, but most coaches that they want are like homegrown guys that came up through his system and learned and were ready for the job. Well, it works for those teams usually because the guy comes up through their system.
Yeah.
We never allow anyone to come up through our system through a period of years and time. You have guys that came up through the Browns towards the end. They
have
were
you
able
guys
to
seen
become huge.
the NFL Network special Browns 95?
I saw a little bit of that. Yeah.
They showed in there how many guys from that coaching staff got head coaching jobs, and it's like 17 of them.
right.
God.
And 'cause
Out
they
of
were-
like a 24-person staff, and the other guys became big-time defensive coordinators and stuff.
Right.
Because they were able to gel as a team, and the guys above them were able to work with them for a while. And it was just so they all learned the right way. They were all be immersed in everything that they were learning on their process of becoming that. When you wipe out the establishment of what you have every couple years, you're never going to have that. And you can go chase after somebody else's guy that came up. But all the good ones, get picked right away. We're not the most observant team in the NFL.
Oh, right.
We wouldn't be where we are if we knew the things that the other teams knew or were able to do those kind of things.
This is the 13th year or season they've played since they've come back. They've already had 6 wholesale regime changes. Next year will be the 7th. 14. That's an average of 2 years for each new coach and general manager.
You think could that happen in any other city? For a team to do that, that sounds like complete chaos. Like you should be going out of business and done. We'll still have a team though, because we have such a great fan base.
Because we're drunk.
Right, we love drinking and going out in the cold and screaming and having a reason to hate people from another city. That's really the main thing that we all have in common.
As long as the stadium's there, it doesn't matter who's wearing the uniforms. People are showing up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So are you willing to have faith, go along for the ride now here with Haslam?
This is the only reason is because it's a new owner. The last 6 coaches were all under the same owner, and it's like, oh, you're interim coach for, oh, no, that didn't work. Let's hire a new coach. He's fired in a year. And then you're interim coach for 2 months. No, we'll get a new guy. At least I'll say Haslam is the new owner. He can do what he wants. He's got that just going just for being the new owner. But before, when it was Lerner, and Randy Lerner was never around, and he's just like, whatever.
Aston Villa or Aston, whatever it is.
Haslam has something to prove, so that's the only reason why I'm not like, God, because, Shermer, he put on too much. And I don't think he's as bad a coach as some people do, but he can't call the plays. Stop it. But Heckert's been a great GM. You look at the guys they've gotten since he's been there.
And it's really, and that's what kind of scares me right off the bat, is that they're just kind of making these arbitrary moves without really thinking. This guy's assembled a great team. We need to give him time to build it. And
if they could keep Dick Duran as a defensive coordinator and Heckert, you could replace anybody else. But once you replace those guys, everybody's going to be gone.
And they're going to try to go for a big name coach who's probably going to have his own, saying whatever
Art
they do.
Shell.
And I just hope, Art Shell.
I'm sure he'll get an interview. League rules.
Gotta be fair to everybody.
Terry Robisky, you mind coming in for the interview? I've been interim coach of the Browns twice since you've come back. Well, there's only 3 of you guys we can interview.
They bring in Denny just to even out the numbers.
Like, that rule doesn't work if they only pick from the same 5 guys.
I just want them to hire Michael Lombardi as a GM or whatever. It's just so all the guys on K&R can all have strokes and die at the same time. Because they're going to shit themselves. And Tony Grossi,
that's actually a noble cause.
Fuck, man. You want to get rid of Brenda, Tony Grossi, and the fucking Rizzo all in one fell swoop?
And Bernie Kosar will be laughing drunkenly the whole time.
Have you guys heard that audio that was online of Bernie?
I was listening to it live. I was eating Mr. Hero in my car, and they're like trying to get a hold of him for a while, and he's on all the time.
Yeah.
And within a couple seconds, you could just, something's wrong. And I've met him before, and I've heard him a lot, and he takes medication, and sometimes his speech will be slurred, but he's still coherent. He was... I hate to say this, and I love Bernie. It sounded like he was in real bad shape. I mean, and Bruce Hooley,
funny to really, really sad.
Right.
Fast.
When he was crying and then getting confrontational with Bruce Hooley, and Hooley is, I love Bruce Hooley. He really is a professional, because he didn't bite at all, and he just slowly trying to find a way to just get him off air and just kind of protected Bernie.
That actually was the best part, when he's trying to rap and he's like, no, I'm staying out for the whole segment.
Bernie's good talking to you. Like, no, I'm going to talk the whole show. I was like choking on my delicious hot butter cheese stuff from Mr. Hero. And, I couldn't believe it. And so he's already starting to really crack just from them talking about Michael Lombardi. We're going to kill him. You love Bernie. Please don't. Is it worth it, Bernie dying, to get rid of Rizzo, Brenda, and Tony Grossi, too?
I would make him a martyr.
Bernie Kosar is dying for the sins of one radio station.
But then
Bernie Kosar's already dying for the sins of Babette Kosar.
Have you seen his daughter?
Alexis Silver. She did a porn.
Yeah, I saw a little clip of it. It was hard to find.
Yeah. I got it. I can send it to you if you want it.
Yeah, she's a champ. It's the angle when she's doing the deed, when she's sucking cock, when they show the angle with the Bambi eyes, every great porn has a girl with the Bambi eyes. You got to have it. That's one of my favorite things, is just those eyes. the nose kind of comes through, and it's like, ah! You see Bernie for a second, her hair turns into an afro mullet.
I was the opposite. I was like, this girl is not my type at all, but I got to do it just for respect.
I like Jackie Arnold's daughter to porn is respect.
Was she at least blowing
Bernie
Brian
shakes your
Brennan?
hand like when you meet her. If you ever meet Bernie, like, hey, I jacked off to your daughter. Thanks, man.
If he's in the state, he wasn't on the radio, he'd be like, oh, he'd cry for a second, then he'd say, I love you. Oh.
Cool, but they kind of, everyone kind of put that right under the rug, and we should. We protect Bernie. We love Bernie. He's really all we got. I mean, it's been so bad. It just reminds us of those.
He's never thrown a woman out the window.
Right, exactly.
That's what you're trying to say.
Right. And it reminds us of those days when we were going to Browns games, or when baseball players were beating our fathers with balls at baseball games. So
I'm so honored to meet Def Jeff just for that.
Yeah, I know. He's a pretty big
that was
star.
your dad. Now every time I think of Albert Bell, that's what I'll be thinking.
Yep.
So we'll segue from football into a real sport, wrestling, in a second.
Yeah.
But, let's talk about some stuff you're doing here. You do with a Pretty Swell Guys podcast.
Yep.
And who else is on that with you?
Kirk Robinson.
And I saw, and it's the like videos you guys do is a kind of a spawn off of that. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because you guys aren't lazy and actually do other features and stuff on your show, and never just put it off till the next week and never get to it.
No, we do that too.
We did one sketch on the show.
We still have an episode with Jeremy that I lost in the middle of editing, and I still haven't found it. I know exactly where it is. It's on a hard drive that's not working.
Right, between you and Andy Meredith, I feel really good about actually the professionality of our podcast.
Oh, this is way more professional than the Circle of Hate.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's just people screaming at each other.
That's basically what it is.
That is, yeah.
If you listen to the last episode of Circle of Hate that they did live, that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is, and Jesse's trying to do a bit, and they're just totally ignoring it and yelling at each other.
Yep, it's amazing.
So you do that. What else do you do? Like, because you got to be recoup some of this money a lot, like the $100,000. It's got to be wearing thin. If you have anything left, you got to start thinking about like, okay, it's time to pick it up a little bit in the next gear and kind of right. Or you
I agree. That's what I'm trying to do.
So you're also co-host Mohammed's radio show with Jeremy Shearer.
Yep. He's my longest running co-host on Mohammed's radio.
Most frequent.
And that sounds like you basically answer calls that people, maniacs, call in and scream at you.
Yes.
When that show is good, I think Jeremy does an awesome job. I think it's really great. But when it's bad, it is the most unlistenable piece of shit in the world.
Yeah, and when it's bad, none of it is our fault.
No.
And that's the worst part about it. Like, we have no control over who calls in because we have no screener.
Right.
So Chris has actually thrown off his headphones a couple of times.
There's sometimes I just can't take it, and
it's gotta be tough.
But when it's good, it's like, oh man, this is so awesome. I won't sleep if that means getting a chance to do this.
Well, our goal is to get to the point where we can take calls on a regular basis. We try to do Ustream.
We need a screener.
Right. And that's exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, Def Jeff, and I can't trust Def Jeff with that. This guy with the President of the United States just called it, Nick. I think it's him. He's really easy.
That's pretty awesome.
Right.
That would be a good get.
But that's kind of something like you got to have the live feed from people and that live response. But at the same time, that is also a major downfall of a lot of radio shows is their listeners.
Like we did a call-in episode on our podcast, and that went good, but we were trying to do it once a month, but basically it never got worked out because you got to do that at a set time and announce it in advance. And when it's like, I don't have time in my schedule, we could do it at 9 o'clock and the next one at 1 in the afternoon. That's not going to work.
Right, exactly. We kind of run into the same thing here from time to time.
The reason that we have the caller base that we do on CSB is because it's on CSB.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you're on FM,
yeah.
People just call on CSB because, like, I feel like fucking with CSB right now.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the culture there.
That's how I started my whole entertainment career, actually, was calling in and pranking CSB. It turned into a idea that turned into a band and a bunch of bullshit later.
There are some good callers.
Yeah. Hit and run caller is really good.
Yeah. That's the only one I was thinking of.
That's it.
As much as I love talking about other shows, but it's CSB, Mohammed's Radio, Jeremy Shearer, and Chris Clem are on it. But this is Tough Scene Cleveland that you're listening to, and our
Tough Scene Cleveland.
we're going to take, we're just going to get a bumper. Thank you for imitating, Chris.
I'll do it as, what the hell is that guy's name that I was doing on Muhammad's Radio?
Well,
that
you do
one time?
impressions.
Oh, Andrea
from it, right?
Bargnani.
No, got it.
Oh, Murray Saul.
It's Friday!
Yeah, the guy that used to scream on the radio.
Yeah,
like,
that's
well,
all he
you're
did, yep. That's all I did, too.
That was a good bit.
So we're going to get the phone lines for our listeners so we can actually, we got to get things kind of solid, get on, once we get on our, like, station that we're going to kind of control and stuff like that. Well,
when are you guys going to get a wacky sound effect guy?
I know. Well, I want to have a one. Listen, I would do the most cheesiest. There would always be some sort of stupid sound effect or like clips and stuff. We're going to do all that eventually.
We have like little toys with buttons and stuff. We could just,
all right, we got to bootleg some.
like
we got to
yeah.
really get serious about bootlegging some computer programs here.
Yeah.
The goal is to get on our own kind of internet station that we would pay for our domain and actually be able to charge for advertising and even have other shows have a station. And actually have the professional gear. Right now, this is a DIY podcast. We're doing it any way we can, and we get it up, we put it on whatever we can put it on for free, and just get it out there. But the goal is to develop it into an actual radio show.
I mean, you're on the right track. You might as well get a while under your belt before you do it, because we had ours, the website and everything first, and it was about a year before it was worth the cost.
Right, you got to
in terms
build
of downloads. And now it's not huge, and by any means, like Jeremy said, it's mediocre success. But it's between, and I'll be honest, I don't care. It's between 800 and like 1,000 downloads every episode. So it's further than
pretty good.
than we are. It's not people I know doing it.
Right.
Maybe like 20, but it's out of that. So it's worth it now, I think, just because.
And there's enough people listening to the point where you can put on a quarterly show at the Funny Stop and hack it.
Yeah.
So
and that's what we're trying to do, is just slowly build up an audience before we really get too crazy with everything. We have our first show after 1 year. We're doing a live show. Things are just coming really slowly because we got to make sure, kind of get a flow of how the show's going to go and build up that audience and also make the show good.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where we get
There's
there.
so many podcasts, you might as well take your time and make sure it's something you're doing that somebody else isn't. Even if it's not great. Like, there's episodes we do that are just terrible, and I'm like, this is pointless. And then I listen to it, and I'm like, all right, well, compared to the other podcasts covering the same topics, we do it completely different. So at least, even if it's not good, it's unique.
Different.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, this feels different.
Right.
Well, thank you. That's because Jeremy
Not in a bad
Shears,
way, a good way.
is groping me under the table. We're putting out crazy vibes.
It feels different.
You're not complaining, are you?
No, I'm going to say stop. Jerry, as a co-host, you know your job. You also do some improv. You perform with you still perform with Thunderlips?
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of news going on with that, but we have our last show at Big Dog Theater. When is this getting posted?
This will
Next
probably
couple days,
be,
Okay. Well, you probably
Tuesday at the
missed it
latest.
if you're listening to this, but it was on
happens a lot.
Friday. Yeah,
Matt
Who
Meyer,
might have
you
been?
missed
Who
it.
knows?
We have one regular viewer. He sits on his porch and watches his neighbors. Matt, you missed it. So
I've downloaded your guys' videos and converted them to audio files to listen to it.
Oh,
Oh
thanks.
wow! Thank you.
We're
Did research.
putting just the audio on aircheck.us.
I saw that. I didn't get to listen to that
Just
one
for
yet.
it's just the last two episodes.
Yeah.
I like the ghost interview. That
Oh,
guy.
yeah,
that guy was
was
cool.
It was a
It
great
kept me up
interview.
way later than I was planning to. I was working on some art, and I was listening to that, and I'm like, oh, I'll just wait till this is over, I guess.
Nice.
Thank you.
That guy was awesome.
We
Yeah,
got to
it
get
was.
that footage up there too. He
Oh,
actually
yeah.
gave us some.
Yeah, I
amazing
wanted to see
footage.
that, yeah.
I mean,
We'll put that up when we put this up. I'll make a separate post.
all right,
just
cool.
to-
We'll get that with like Larry time and stuff too.
Oh, there. Okay, that's cool.
We'll talk about that later.
And 10 other things.
Right, yeah, I know. We're getting really. You need to get laid off real soon here.
Thanks.
This working shit's fucking us over. But
I know how it goes.
we'll be back. We're going to talk to Chris, and we'll be back with more with Chris Clem and a little more with Jeremy Shearer.
I
Are
got to
you on?
bounce, actually.
Okay, well, Jeremy, thank you very much. Come on, we'll see you next Yeah, next week we are doing a show with Fuck You Pay Me. So
You pay me?
Next Thursday.
All right. I'll get either the straight edge comedian Dan Brown or John Hoffner.
Sounds great. Awesome. Perfect. Cool. All right, well, Jeremy, have a great show at Teams in Berea.
Teams!
Look out, Berea. Here comes Jeremy Shearer.
Hi to everybody.
Make sure you have plenty of crystal meth stocked up. He's got a voracious appetite. All right, well, that's
Bring
with
my
it.
light bulb.
All right, with that, there's only one thing to say. Tough Scene Cleveland, we'll be back. Tough Scene Cleveland, available on YouTube, Ustream, Facebook, and now Aircheck US. Tough Scene Cleveland, Nick Wolf, Jeremy Shearer took off. Watch out, the city of Berea. Prostitutes, get outside, look pretty. You have a customer coming
They
through.
don't even need to look pretty for him, I don't think.
That's true. Men, put on your nice dress.
Just walk outside now.
Pretty much, just go outside. Jeremy Shearer will fuck you. Def Jeff is outside of the order sphere of death working on some structural things. You hear him
I
clanking
can
around.
hear that, yeah.
Right, he's in his zero gravity suit right now. He goes to no ends for this show. We are here with Chris Clem.
Yes.
Part 2 of our groundbreaking interview with
Yeah, part 2 of 30 minutes of Brown Stock.
So you're doing the Big Dog Theater. It's their last show.
Yeah.
Now, improv, being a stand, what comes first for you, or what comes more naturally, being a stand-up comedian or the improv? Or they kind of go hand in hand.
I guess what would come more naturally, I think the improv, but I think my stand-up is underrated. I don't know.
I think it's hilarious. I listen to a lot of your stuff.
I consider myself a comedian before I consider myself a stand-up comic.
And you're not really, it's not like you're going to, like, telling the joke, the setup. You're basically giving your views. And there is a setup, there is like a payoff, but you're giving your views in an honest way. It's not like, there's some big shtick or anything like that. It's just kind of an extension of you in a formatted way, in a thought-out kind of way.
Well, when I started stand-up, I had a really I still have some jokes like that, but I had like a weird style where it was like everything I did was like a sketch with one person, and I would play multiple characters or just like act out one person's perspective. And then once I got into improv, that's much more natural and well suited for that, and I'm trying to make my stand-up more like not typical stand-up, but more just like you said, like honest expression of this is my views on stuff and this is what I think is funny. It work. I think I figured out how to make that work more for the stand-up stage.
And that's the true thing of any comedian once they start rolling, is finding out really the truth of yourself and just being an extension of yourself. And that applies with pro wrestling too.
Yeah.
They said that the best faces and heels, it's part of them. And that's with any great entertainer. And I find too, I've attempted stand-up on many occasions to varying degrees of success, and I like doing it, but to me it's more natural kind of having that flow with other people. I find that it helps me think faster and kind of come up with funnier stuff than being able to set out what I do. So I think being a stand-up and going out there by yourself is a very tough thing. It's easy to go out and be funny for a couple seconds and kind of say some things, but to really keep the flow of what's going on, and there is a psychology with the audience. It takes a while to build.
I think the most important thing people need to know about stand-up, if they want to do it or anything, is that when you're an actor or an improviser, you're in a sketch, everybody's working together and you're being funny. When you're a stand-up, the basis, even if you do crowd work or, everything's coming from you. Like, you provide the entertainment. You're the kind of like a one-man show. Like, if you're not bringing it out there, then it's not going to work. You can't come out and be like, hey, all right, what's your name? Like, even if you do crowd work, you got to be funny first before people even respond to that.
Exactly. Yeah, because you even see like a lot of new comedians look when they'll try to do that right away, and it's just no one's responding. They don't care. So Jeremy Shearer kind of said, he's like, with stand up you're more of a writer, and with improv you're more of an actor.
Yeah.
Do you find that to be true?
That's definitely true, because in improv, when you're in the moment, you're not not really thinking like, oh, like there's short form improv, which some people look down on, but I really enjoy it because it's almost like you're creating all the jokes on the spot. Whereas like long form, it doesn't necessarily have any jokes in it, and you just hope it's funny by the situation.
Right.
So with that, it doesn't matter if it's like the most groundbreaking line ever. If it's funny and works in the moment, that's great. But when you're a stand-up, there's that assumption that this is something you've been working on for a long time. So just half-assing it or putting out something that's kind of funny isn't as good.
Right, because people have their two reactions. They're going to laugh or it's going to fall flat.
Yep.
There's really no... There may be the grumble, you know.
When it's live and everybody knows it's happening like on the spot, they're just more into it.
Right.
Which helps improv, and why people might say, oh, improv sucks. But when you're there in the audience, even stuff that's not that funny is funny because it's it's happening right then. Like, oh, I'm the only person that's ever going to hear this.
Right, exactly.
Which is what... When people do good crowd work, that's not just like, what's your name, where are you from? But they're playing off what's happening in the moment. Like if a heckler shouts something and you put him down really great, people are like, oh, wow, we got to see this. Like tomorrow night. Yeah, exactly. They're going to be like, Albert Bell does not throw a baseball at fans every day. All right. They might beat the Tigers tomorrow, but that won't happen.
And that game actually wasn't on TV either. It was... not filmed. So I got to see it.
And that was the old like scoreboards where they're just black and white, like Chief Wahoo fanning flames and stuff.
So the orchestra, that's okay. You got that structural.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. So when how long have you been doing comedy? It's been
a little over 5 years.
5 years. And now, did you start in? You went to LA for a while. Did you do comedy when you came back? Or?
No. I started in Cleveland. I did some stuff in Detroit, not LA. Yeah, I don't know. You got wrong information there. Yeah.
Right. Well, I kind of make up my own information.
Oh, that's cool. I tell people that.
Well,
I was out in LA for a while. Yeah. I mean, I've been all around the Great Lakes region.
You've seen it all.
All those
from Toledo to Youngstown.
I'm a Rust Belt favorite.
So, where do you have anything like right now going on? You want to?
Oh yeah, plug? I got. When is this going to be out? You said by Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, so Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You'll be at your relative's house. You'll be doing appearance at your relative's house.
Yeah, I'll be doing a tight 5 minutes in Maple Heights at my uncle's house. Actually, my aunt is always bugging me. She's like, why don't you ever tell us about the shows? And I'm like, you don't. That's the thing is I don't promote really to my family or anything. Yeah, like, check it out. I hope I'm well beyond the flyers.
Right.
It's like I've been doing it for a while. I think I'm pretty good. I don't need to be calling up my grandma to come down. Although she did write an act for me at one point. Yeah.
Nice.
All I remember is the opening line. It was all about her, and she had act outs for it too. Nobody can see this, but she said, "Oh, you remember my grandmother? Small lady, big mouth." Like it was a vaudeville routine.
Nice. I hope my relatives better not start coming up with bits for me. Although I'd have my Uncle Frank on. He's old and racist, so that would work okay. But,
I got tomorrow, the end of the world. If the world doesn't end, I'll be at Big Dog doing improv with Thunderlips, and we're going to be moving to another regular location and touring more, but we haven't worked that out yet.
How is the scene for that? I mean, is there a viable scene in Cleveland for the improv, or is there just a couple of theaters that kind of do it? What is the Big Dog?
I'm in a weird spot because everybody else that does improv in Cleveland pretty much only does improv, and I've been doing stand-up around here longer, and I know pretty much everybody, so I'm a little more honest, I think, because I'm not hating on the improv scene, but there really isn't one. There's a few people that try, like the guy that owns Big Dog Theater, Don Mitri, like his idea was like, I'm going to put this place here. It's this empty space. We're going to use it. We're going to like revitalize the improv scene. And besides that, all the other groups that have been around for a while, like Something Dada, they don't have a regular home now. And if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure they're just vagabonds now. And there's an improv jam on Tuesday. And there's other people that help, like the first coach at Thunderlips, her name's Dina Mendelowitz, and she brings in people to do workshops and stuff. So if you want to do it, or there's still stuff, but if you want to see a show, it's not really a lot going on.
Right.
That's unlike the rock scene where there's a billion places to see things you don't want to see.
Yeah.
Let's get one of these places. Let's do the Foundry. They can just do improv. All right, let's stop with the heavy metal nights. We don't need it in this city. We need some art.
The thing is like last summer, we were actually becoming a draw, and like people were coming just to see our shows, and it was looking good, but there wasn't really anything else that was catching on. It was our stuff, and then they do a special thing every couple months at Big Dog called This Improvised Life, which is what Dina was doing. It was just supposed to be there like once, but he kept bringing them back. But besides that, nothing else latched on, and you can't really keep a place open with 4 nights a month of shows.
We learned that at the Revolution. So, 3 things Jimmy Shear told me notes about you. Your wrestling,
Yes.
comics,
Yes.
hip hop.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
Sure.
Wrestling right now. Who are you into as far as what are you into as far as wrestling? What?
I was saying, right now all I pretty much have a chance to watch is Raw, WWE Raw, because I've been pretty busy lately, and that's not really a priority as much as I would like for it to be.
Right. It should be. Listen, I know you're newly married, but come on, you got to put your foot down somewhere.
If I get to start watching AAA from Mexico, and then I know I've not, my comedy career is falling
You're
apart.
not working as hard as you should be.
There was a while.
How much Dr. Wagner matches? Fuck, I haven't been booked in a long time.
There was about 4 months of watching La Parka Clear House where I was like, all right, time to take a shower and get things going.
Are you more? You're probably a heel guy, right?
Yeah, but I'm not anti-babyface. I will say that my personal favorite right now, and I know it's probably not a popular answer, is The Miz.
I gotta say, as Clevelanders, we should all love and respect The Miz. When I look at great moments in our lives as Northeastern Ohioans, I say the 2002 national championship from the Ohio State Buckeyes and The Miz winning the world title. To me, that's a major championship.
Oh, I agree. That's the WWE title, so it's got that full lineage still, according to them.
They even and Dolph Ziggler was doing the announcing with Cole and the King, and Cole said something about only losers in Cleveland, we've never won anything, and Ziggler's like, that's not true. The Miz won the world title. Even Dolph Ziggler agrees with us.
Well, Dolph has to, because he's next in line for that. So don't devalue that, all right? Exactly. Lawler, he's a huge Cleveland sports fan, but down in Memphis, it's a little easy to get away from that, I think.
But
yeah, that was huge. I remember when he won the U.S. title. That was around when I got into him when he had his feud with Cena. That wasn't really a feud, but
where he just beat him every time.
And I was like, I liked Miz and Morrison. But I was like, well, John Morrison's obviously got the talent, and the Miz is just he's an annoying guy. And then after that, I was like, oh, this guy's actually funny. It
was that whole feud with Cena where he just comes out and gets these stupid wins or countouts because he never shows up and shit and building it up. And he was it's when he started talking slow. I think that's always a bad thing for a heel when they get to that slow Triple H
they tried
persona.
to make Chris Jericho too, and they had similarities, and I guess Jericho's was kind of like his mentor, but that doesn't mean copy his style.
Exactly.
The Miz was more like when Jericho was the annoying guy, he was annoying, but he was funny, and he was kind of just all right, whatever. And he was actually a much better heel when he was serious, because then I was like, well, we like him too much.
Right.
Whereas the Miz was kind of I think he's actually likable, but he's also a douche. So when he was being a heel, that was the side to play up, is that goofy douche that's you like me, but I'm too
My
cool
favorite
for
with
you.
him is when they had Pee Wee Herman on and he was screaming, "Get away from me, Herman!"
Yeah, that's perfect.
Miz.
Yeah,
right.
That's perfect.
So, comic books. What are you reading right now?
Right now, whatever the Stowe Public Library has in stock.
Exactly.
Actually, that's not true. I've been going to the Akron Library. I'm in a feud with the Stowe Library right now.
That's exactly how I am. I just finally caught up on the Grant Morrison Batman run, at least to a certain point, with like the whole Dick Grayson being Batman and the Batcorp. That was really cool. It sucks DC. For years I followed DC from 2002, pretty much when they let Jeff Johns take the reins of everything and build up this awesome structure of a lot of their comics were really great, and it got to a point where you had to read things you normally wouldn't read but you wanted to. It was cool. Like I didn't mind reading the crossovers for Infinite Crisis and stuff.
No, that was when I'm more of a Marvel guy if you're going with the superheroes, and that was when I was reading the most DC that I had, because my favorite DC characters are not the mainstream guys. Like they're not even really DC characters. Like the New Gods. Like I love all of Kirby's stuff from the 70s. I got the black and white paperbacks. I read those like once a year, but those don't really feel like DC characters, even though Darkseid's going to be in the Justice League movie and stuff.
Right.
And Plastic Man, who wasn't a DC character and stuff, but that was when I really got into it. I read 52 and Identity Crisis and then Infinite Crisis.
Right.
I was buying all kinds of stuff then, and I thought that Justice League was really good.
With Brad Meltzer. And
it was,
until they let a McDuffie take over, and then it just like friggin' pissed me off. Like I don't know, it just got crappy, and it was really too focused on and I'm not saying that. Really, I'm making the black character seem so much better than the white character. Like Hal Jordan, as soon as you start writing it, Hal Jordan's just a piece of shit, and Jon Stewart's like the real hero. Sorry, Jon Stewart is like, from last I checked, the 4th best Green Lantern on Earth, 2814
sector.
Right, he's not even the best one on Earth. He's number 4 compared to all the other Green Lanterns. Even Sinestro, who's the evil rogue Green Lantern, who created his own ring and his own started a cult of parallax and fear. He's a better Green Lantern than stupid Jon Stewart.
Think about it like
he's not even cool as Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart from bringing the Daily Show is way cooler.
Well, you could go by this, like Hal Jordan, test pilot, okay. Guy Gardner, former college football player, technically I think alcoholic. I don't know if they were really that's my favorite Green Lantern. Guy Gardner.
I love Guy Gardner.
I love from the 80s Justice League series. He's so
first
funny.
First he gets punched out by Batman on. It's just amazing.
And then when he gets Sinestro's ring in his own series, his mini or his short-lived series is hilarious, and I think it was Keith Giffen that ended up.
With the time travel where he's like going back. That whole run. That's amazing too, and that's Jeff Johns also. Like he just found every character. He found a way to take their path. What was great about that character, big or small, take elements of their history and weave it into things that were going on now that were awesome. I mean, the Green Lantern is the perfect example of that. He built 4 years of compelling storylines over just answers they never bothered to deal with in the original.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of the Green Lantern per se as a character. Guy Gardner, yes, but I liked him just as much when he wasn't a Green Lantern but had Sinestro's ring. Actually, that's my favorite. But he made that series so interesting that I started reading that when Johns was still on it. It was that like 2005 around then. Was he still doing it?
Yeah.
And he was great at tapping into the stuff that made people fans before and being continuity heavy without being too heavy, because I'm not a huge DC guy. Like Marvel, I could tell you every character's history from the 60s to
and I got plenty of bitch about them too.
Yeah.
Cause I'll get into that in a second, but what they've done to my favorite character of all time, I can't fucking handle.
But Johns did a great job of that, and I picked that up right away, and I'm like, okay, I haven't read a DC comic in 8 years, and I can pick up what's going on. It's still really good, though.
And they build it up, and then they just scrap it. And they do this New 52 that I picked one up, and Superman and Wonder Woman are making out.
That was then. I had not read any DC since then.
It's really bad. It makes most like Steve Trevor is the most important guy, and he's like the Nick Fury.
I just don't get why they're doing that when this is the 4th time technically since 86, or including 86, they've rebooted everything.
Right.
What's the point? And then they did it with the Infinite Crisis or Crisis on Infinite.
It was Crisis on Infinite Earths, and 0 Hour was kind of a tweak to that.
Yeah. And then that's 2. And then there was
Crisis.
The Infinite Crisis, and I thought that was supposed to reboot it, and then they're like, well, technically, no, it's not. They're just bringing back all the Earth 2, but there's still Earth 1 is the same as it's been since 86. It made no sense. But then instead of rebooting everything again, they should have just made some editorial mandates like, this is what's going on for the next 5 years.
Right.
Just stick with this path and let's see what happens. kids.
And it's so stupid. Like, Superman's younger. They're like, a lot of the characters are different, but Batman's storylines are exactly the same as they were.
He counts still. Everything Batman still counts. But but Superman's different. It is like, one title 6 years ago, and this one's now.
It was one of our 2 top selling titles. We're not fucking with Green Lantern, Batman, you're the same. Everything else, fuck you. Superman's not that important in the DC universe. We didn't just say 6 years ago.
Now.
Right? Yeah. He's got an attitude, because we all know we need a Superman with an attitude, because Superboy in 1992 works so fucking well. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the later version where he died, you know.
Oh, yeah, the later version
himself.
With the Teen Titans. Yeah. Didn't John's write that, too?
Yes, everything he wrote is amazing. So that, and as far as Marvel goes, you're a bigger Marvel fan.
Oh, yeah, like my favorite comic book characters, if I had to name out of anything, my 2 favorite characters are probably Spider-Man and Doctor Doom.
There you go. Spider-Man would be up there on my list, and Cyclops would be.
Okay.
And I only like Cyclops because he's such a dick. I guess I've always identified with his stodgy dickiness. I hate what they've done. Like, I haven't even been able to read after they did the Avengers X-Men storyline, where now I guess it's just called the Uncanny Avengers, and there is no X-Men.
With those, the library gets those, so I'm about a year behind because they don't buy them as soon as they come out. It's like they need to take 6 months for a paperback come out, then another 6 months for the library to
right. That's I live the same game, and it's even worse for movies. I'm still waiting for Game of Thrones season 1. I've watched it about 15 times in other forms now.
And when you get it, it's going to be scratched to shit.
Yeah, fucked up.
At least with the comic book paperbacks, I would never do this to my own, but they put the thick plastic cover so you can't bend it. It's like, that's all right. At least I can read it.
And they have the single issues at the library, but I'm always scared to read those.
Is that around here?
Yeah, and like a lot of the Parma ones, they have like single issues.
I know there was one in Bedford that I used to go to because my dad would work over there, and he'd just take me over there. And they had every single issue of like what was current, and this was in the 90s. And
we don't have nonfiction.
I just check out a huge stack.
In Parma, we don't have nonfiction in our library, so we have more room for comic books.
Just comics.
We have a giant CD collection too.
It's DVDs, CDs, and comic books.
Right.
Oh, that's the library now.
We don't trust iPods yet.
That's the thing about living in Stowe I liked is that they started small with their comics collection about 6 years ago, and the librarian that was in charge of it noticed that I would be there all the time. And this is when I was still buying comics too. I was just like,
you were really at overdrive. Between that and the Mexican wrestling,
could you tell not much was going on for me then? And she was like, "What do you think? I'm starting a collection for adults too, and you got any suggestions?" Well, actually, what she asked was, what should I get for this that would be something that would hold up for a long time? And I wrote her like a list of 30 comics, and she's like, well, some of these aren't appropriate for all ages. And I'm like, yeah, but they're really good. So she ended up buying everything I said, expanding their section by about 3 times, and then starting adult graphic novel section too.
Nice.
So I'll take credit for that.
There's 2 history guys.
Stowe.
He changed the face of the Stowe Library.
The Stowe Library is different now because of Chris Clem, and you can't drink beer.
You can't drink after 17.
I'm a nobody. I am completely irrelevant right here. I don't like this at all.
That's what makes it sad that I won't go there anymore because I'm feuding with them. Oh, like I told him to get Why the Last Man in American Splendor. What's going on? And Watchmen.
Library. And then your third thing, Jeremy, you sure told me hip hop.
Oh yeah.
What are you listening to right now?
Right now, I kind of hate everything that's
current. You're not
current.
the 2 Chainz kind of.
No. And he's not even new, but the last new guy that I got into, I love everything he does, and this is another controversial pick, is Kanye West. I think he's a genius.
He is pretty talented, yeah.
I love that. Everything he does, I love.
I'm not a big fan of his music, but I love his outbursts in general.
His PR.
Right. Yeah. Him and Metal World Peace are my 2 favorite people.
I do love the fact that he's an asshole because he's like, yeah, I made it, so what are you going to do about it? Like, I'm going to be a dick at the MTV Awards. Which is like, that's the heel, like wrestling thing. He knows what he's going for.
Yeah, but some people, some in Parma, they have a different word for that. It's not heel.
I couldn't tell you, like, again, I'm a big local supporter, so I got Machine Gun Kelly's album, and I like it, but I don't know if it's because of the lyrics or just because he's got amazing producers on there, which is probably the case, because I couldn't remember any lines that he said.
Now, is there any competition between you and Machine Gun Kelly? Because you are many musical hits. You got a lot of videos out in Gay for Stallone.
I just posted that on the Tough Scene page.
Oh, nice.
So, is there any fallout with it? You ever get any contact? Like, stay off there.
Oh yeah, man! I sent it to his manager, and I said, "This is who you need to sign." And no response whatsoever.
Amazing stuff. Hey, you are a pretty big Stallone guy, right?
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
that's not just like a song.
No, that actually is why, like I was saying earlier before Def Jeff was in here, I totally consider myself a comedian and not like a stand-up or an improviser or anything, because that was a bit, like, I thought it was hilarious. I would just talk about how much I love Stallone, and I was like, if that's one guy I would go gay for, it would be Stallone. And I was,
Does he get more attractive as he gets older?
It's more impressive for
Right,
sure.
'cause
Because
he-
then it was
he's
like,
kinda-
oh, he's just like a meathead. He's kind of weird looking. But now it's like he's 65 and he looks like a brick shit house, man.
What is he doing? To stay in shape? Like he's a mystery. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So that was a mystery.
Ask the Australian custom agents that unzipped his duffel bag.
What is the ultimate Stallone movie for you then?
I mean, if you're going,
No, for you. I
me-
understand. Like most people, you've got to say his
You
best movie.
gotta
Rocky's
say
gotta be.
Rocky,
I mean,
yeah.
Right.
No, I'm talking like Rhinestone.
to be honest, this is not. I gotta think is what I'm gonna keep thinking, but
Copland.
Copland is really good.
The new Rambo.
New
the
Rambo's awesome.
amazing.
I was gonna say the one movie I can watch over and over again is Demolition Man.
That is a great movie.
I was agreeing with your last couple. It's got its moments, I guess, but
It's nostalgic.
I like
more
how
than-
Wesley Snipes really plays down his characters. He doesn't overdo it
He
at all.
totally he spin karate kicks a glass display case. There's nothing cooler than that. I like his cheesy stuff. I like Cobra.
Yeah, I love Cobra. When he hangs the guy in the meat hook.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking great.
He just gets on the back of a truck and guns down motorcycle guys at the end, which is why I love Rambo 3, even though it's not good. But the end of the movie, it's him and Troutman, and they're in the trench, and the whole Soviet army's bearing down. He's like, "What are we gonna do, Johnny?" And Rambo just looks at him and goes, "Fuck them," and he starts shooting off grenade rounds, and they totally destroy the Soviet army single-handedly.
You can follow kind of like our conscience as people through the Rambo movies. Like the first one is this social commentary movie, kind of deep and important. 2, is bloodier and it's got that 80s violence, but there's still something to it. 3 is just overblown action because it's the late 80s, early 90s.
blowing up
everything's
entire
ridiculous.
armies. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the newest one's just brutal and it's not even. It goes be like. It's almost a snuff film.
Oh, the new one is. I mean, First Blood's a little different because it's more of a drama,
Yeah.
but the new one is amazing, and that's probably his best movie in 20 years.
Yeah.
I like Rocky Balboa, but it's more just like tying a bow on the series. It didn't really mean anything, but Rambo actually takes the approach of like this character. It is interesting to see where he is 25 years later, because Rocky's where you kind of expect him to be, and it's just like here's one last go. But Rambo, it's like this guy is deeply disturbed, and he's been living in the jungle for 25 years.
It never got
Does he
better
have
for
a
him.
soul left? Which is an interesting question. It's kind of it actually has a subtext too.
Yeah, right.
Unlike the a lot of
Unlike
them.
the Expendables.
Yeah, which I
Well,
love.
great movies.
I love.
Right.
Expendables 2, I just had a shit-eating grin on my face from beginning to end. Well, it's a terrible movie. I hated some of the cinematography. There was really no plot, but I loved it so much.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, just those guys on screen. Just seeing Rocky and Drago on screen together.
Man.
Is amazing. So, Chris Clem, we'll talk to you a little bit more. We're going to take a break here. We'll come back with the news, finish up our Humanity in Review. It's really heating up. This really gets interesting. All right, Tough St. Cleveland, we'll be back.
Sitting in my house, it was 1988. I was watching TV, eating, and gaining some weight. I was about to go to bed when a man came on the screen. He was brave, he was kind, he was the most handsome man I'd ever seen. His name was Stallone, and he was in something called First Blood Part 2. He was killing Charlie left and right with knives and bamboo. I'm not gay, but I fell in love with this man at first sight. I wished I was his Colonel Troutman by the end of the night. Sly's body is pure perfection. Every Rocky movie gives me an erection. The Adrian is such a tease. If I was her, I'd always be on my knees. Cobra, Tango Cash and Copland. Forget the military. He can go solo in Afghanistan and Iran. I love with no shirt and a six-pack. If I could touch one, I'd have a heart attack. For some action, I always go with Stallone.
What about comedy?
May I direct you to Oscar and Snap's Provolone? I'd go gay for Stallone.
I'll tell you what I do if I got Sly all alone. I'd bet on Sylvester and give him my big old bone. Oh, I'd go gay for Stallone. I'd go gay for Stallone.
Ask me if I'm queer and I say no way, but when I see Stallone shirtless, I start feeling gay. Rambo 3 was great, let me tell you that. Had a boner from beginning to end, and that's a fact. Party kitty and studs more like a party in my pants. His nude scene Demolition Man goes by way too fast. I wanna act like a Spartan when I see John, a great guy, to go gay for with a 3-inch schlong.
That's not the big.
I wanna hug on the beach like my name's Apollo Creed. When I watch Ron Stone, I wanna swallow a seed. They say he's expendable, I say that he's not. Judge Dredd or Night Hawks, he's equally hot. Stop or my mom will shoot all over your face. The real Paradise Alley lies below his waist. I can tell you something, but it's already known. I'd go gay for Stallone.
I'll tell you what I do if I got Sly all alone. I'd bet on Sylvester and give him my big old bone. Oh, I'd go gay for Stallone. I'd go gay for Stallone.
The specialist driven and get Carter. Spy Kids 3D cliffhanger. I'm getting harder. Victory Assassins over the top. Daylight First Blood, and now I'm getting hot.
Oh my God, go shoot
all over your face.
Should have got an Oscar for Oscar. I'll give you a war you won't believe. I'll tell you what I do if I got Sly all alone. I'd bet on Sylvester and give him my big old bone. Oh, I'd go gay for Stallone. I'd go gay for Stallone. I watch movies and my dick gets grown.
Tell it to him, Steve.
I said my dick gets grown. I wanna Balbonia with my Ramboner.
Me too, buddy. Sounds good to me. Shout out to Mr. T and Dolph.
All right, Tough Scene Cleveland, we are back. Nick Wolf, Death Chef,
Yo.
Chris Clem.
Howdy.
So we just learned a lot about you, Chris Clem. I feel closer to you as a person, which is good. You know, with the world ending it soon, it was good to know you while we were still here.
I want whatever culture reconstitutes itself in 4,000 years and simulate this. Yeah,
right.
They're gonna look up the movie Demolition Man just to see how it compares.
And they'll be like, oh, this is what it was like.
They're gonna make robot Taco Bells.
Yeah.
We got the news coming up here. Real quick, though, January 22nd, Night of Icons, Tough Scene Cleveland's first show. Check out all our information. We're going to have flyers out there, all of our stuff on the internet. But it's going to be a great night. It's our podcast. Fuck You, Pay Me, Dead Enders, Andy Meredith, T.L. Martin, you know their name.
T.M. Francis.
T.M. Francis. See, I know, like,
He said everybody from the Circle of Hate,
the
right?
Circle of Hate guys, yeah.
T.M. Francis, Dan Brown, John Hoffner.
I'm getting exposed to all you guys at once, but I'm like getting like thrown in like 30 names of people.
Yeah.
Like you,
Jeremy
and Andy
is connected.
He's awesome, and I've kind of got. I haven't booked a real guy. Like, okay, Jeremy, you got it. He hasn't booked a week in advance. His professionalism, you're like, wow, this guy's way more professional than me. I gotta step it up.
He really is professional. It's amazing. He's like the shit stain on everybody's underwear. Cleveland comedy. Like everybody knows he's there, whether they want to or not.
So, real quick before I get into the actual stories I have here, I saw something on on Facebook that was kind of funny. It was a picture of the Ku Klux Klan protesting the Westboro Baptist Church. Obviously, Westboro Baptist Church is one of the worst organizations as far as just. I don't even know what their agenda really is, like definitively. Obviously, they're ultra conservative in neoistic ways, but.
They're more fascist,
right?
Really.
It seems like they really just take the most unpopular view in anything, and
they're attention whores. They're just—it's like they're doing this shit just to get attention.
Right, just like the
totally.
NAACP. Oh wait, no,
that's all I see.
Say that.
Oh,
oh shit, we're getting pulled out of orbit. Racial friction.
I saw a Dateline NBC or 2020 or something that was behind the Westboro Baptist Church a year or so ago.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
It had them singing their songs, and I was cracking up. I was like, man, this is really what they're into. Like, they're singing Beatles songs with words like "God hates reprobate Jews" and stuff.
Yeah, it's over the top.
I mean, when you have the Ku Klux Klan,
it's a cartoon almost.
I like that Klan. They're good guys. Like, cool.
Yeah.
You get them, Klan. Go get them. Stick up for us.
Yeah, that's crazy when the Klan is the reasonable ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're the ones defending us from these people.
Yeah, George Nuri and the Klan are the most reasonable people right now in the world. Speaking of reasonable people, the news brought to you by the Huffington Post.
Awesome.
The only true source in bullshit and fucking stupid, snappy banter taglines. Huge penis back piece drawn by tattoo artists on a guy who allegedly passed out at a party. We've got more stories.
Tattooed penises?
Last it was the girl.
Yeah, there was a giant one on her back.
And he tattooed a giant penis on her back. You can't fall. It's so easy. You know, it used to be in the day you get it drawn on you, and that sucked enough. It's easier to fight a tattoo gun than a pen. With our computer world, there's no pens lying around. You are better off tattooing stuff on people because everyone's got a goddamn tattoo gun. Yeah, I'm working at a shop. I'm just learning. Fuck, everyone's an aspiring goddamn fucking tattoo artist.
That's the field of the future, I guess.
Great. There's always gonna be white trash. So.
Yeah, exactly. Job security for them.
And black people that are dumb enough to think that fucking
it's a different color
for some reason. Like, seriously, they pay good money. It's like you should get a discount, right? If you can only use one.
They should get their tattoos done in white.
Right, exactly.
All right, I didn't say that. I'm sorry.
Come on, Deb.
That'd be expensive ink.
You're really fucking right.
Yeah,
it's like neon ink, radioactive
black
chemicals.
light reactive ink. Step into the club, your whole arm lights up.
that'd be kind of cool, actually.
So there's no actual information.
Actually, yeah. One of us should patent that right now.
This article doesn't have any information in it at all.
Just pictures.
It's not even like a real story. They have a picture.
It's a headline.
Is it the Huffington Post rumors?
They didn't even have a catchy tagline. Normally, they have a really funny,
I
witty
guess the dick's on him.
Like, people will get murdered, and they'll make something funny about it, because multiple murders are hysterical and rape and all that kind of stuff. Are you guys big fans of Honey Boo Boo?
Who's that?
You're right.
I honestly got to say is when my wife first sent me a clip from when she was on, what is it, Toddlers and Tiaras or whatever.
Right.
All I could think of is that is the ugliest woman I have ever seen in my life. Her mom. Like, she looks fake. I don't know how else to describe it.
She looks like Mags from Justified. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about, but the listeners out there, you watch TV, you know what I'm talking about. Her uncle that's on the show, Crazy Tony Lindsay, and if you're really crazy on that show, you're the one with the nickname Crazy. There's gonna be something wrong. He was let's see. Here comes Boo Boo, Honey Boo Boo, cast member may be coming to a porn DVD near you, but it's not Honey Boo Boo herself. Yeah, because she's 4.
Oh my
God!
God.
Joke off it in post. You don't even make light of that.
You just got to make it clear. Everybody got excited over that last line.
It's not her.
She is very scantily clad in the series. I'm sure it's a top hit with pedophiles. Pedophiles in a slightly chunky.
They find her gross. Like
6-year-olds.
Are pedophiles hot for chubby?
They might. Everybody's got their own taste.
Sure, it's a fetish.
They better get used to it because that's all that's rolling down the assembly line nowadays.
I wonder what Pete Townsend's gonna do. You think he likes chubby?
I don't know. What's he researching right now?
Wasn't it 13-year-old boys?
Yeah.
So
I wonder what documentary he's working on. Role of 13-year-old boys to jerk off to, starring Pete Townsend. Coming to a torrent site near you.
Honeymoon's cousin, Crazy Tony Lindsay, expressed interest in starring in hillbilly-themed porno, provided he doesn't have to adopt a cheesy adult film moniker. No, Crazy Tony's good enough, dude. It's okay.
What's Uncle Elmer up to right now?
I know. Oh, shit. Uncle Elmer would have been... He was messing with the ladies. He got married on live TV.
He got married on, what, Saturday Night's Main Event?
Yeah.
So this is the little girl's dad?
It's her cousin.
Her cousin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I read online
He's over 18?
Yes, he's very much older 18.
Hillbilly porn is blown up in the last 6 months. It's the fastest growing sector of the adult entertainment market.
Hillbilly? Now, what makes it hillbilly porn?
Toothlessness?
From what I understand, they're supposed to be like trashy trailer chicks is what one of the videos that I saw on the article. It's like themed where they speak in a southern accent and they wear like skirts like they're supposed to try like Daisy. Not all of them. Some of them are just it's supposed to be like amateur, but it's not really.
Right.
And they're pretty
I could go
gross.
to the Pioneer Lounge if I wanted to see that in my hometown.
See it live.
But I read that it was the article said it didn't sell at all, and like no company was making it, and the company that had 4 titles out, they just sold out through everything over the last 6 months, and they keep ramping up production on it. So that's probably this guy's going to be the new star of it all.
Right.
He's going to be the Ron Jeremy of hillbilly porn.
And Crazy Tony's going to rule the whole world of hillbilly porn. Let's see. Any sex I've ever had was hillbilly porn. There's no other kind of sex than me. Let's see. Hillbilly porn is where they have sex while they're fighting over the last Coors Light in the fridge. Or who gets to bring the fried chicken into...
the stadium? Yeah. Little did I know. My parents both grew up in the city. It's a shame.
They say, like, any girl can be made up to look like a redneck. There is country porn where the girls wear flannel shirts and tight jeans. Like, I like that, but hillbilly porn, I guess, is just it's not so much sexy, it's more making fun of it.
I think so, yeah.
They're, like, banging in a barn on some hay.
Right.
Stuff probably.
So
there's probably like a cow just in the background.
Moo.
And then from there, the Huffington Post just goes into something else that has nothing to do with the story at all. It's about some sex and chicks that do porn. I guess in reality TV, though, it's cool. They're starting to break through. They don't think it's a big deal that reality stars do porn. We've come to realize that reality stars should be held at a higher plateau than porn stars.
I mean, that made Kim Kardashian a reality star.
Exactly. Right. I mean, even Paris Hilton, it definitely helped her. She was famous before. But
I don't like the internet meme that says that she's only famous because of Ray J's dick, because I didn't hunt that down online to see Ray J's dick.
Right. I heard the Ray J's got a huge ass snake. Have you, celebrity stuff, have you seen the China porns?
Oh, unfortunately, I Google searched it and I could not believe what I saw. I'm like, this cannot be this. This is a guy's dick, and I saw about 30 seconds of it, and I think that's gay porn. If you haven't seen it, she has a
dongle.
I told my friends, I'm like, turn off safe search on Google and just look up One Night in China, and the first image on there is like of her mini dick.
Oh my god!
And it's pierced, and you seriously can. It looks like a full penis. There's just
that's what Triple H talks with a list.
Instead of having balls underneath, there's a vagina right underneath it.
Wow.
Jeremy Shearer, he wrote on his blog one time, he wrote fake wrestling storylines, and he said that China and X-Pac were going to come back to WWF and challenge for the tag team titles, and that the commissioner was going to say no because they're an intergender team, at which point China pulls down her pants and reveals she has a bigger dick than most of the locker room.
Right. Well, I wonder when she was doing steroids if that shrank.
Honestly, I
think
think
that's where it came from.
I saw still images from her wrestling themed one, and it's a lot smaller. So I'm thinking it is steroid related. It doesn't look like she has one now.
Right.
Either that or there's a talented surgeon out there.
Super Mario is running loose in New York City. He's lost his mind. Luigi has no control over him anymore. Police say a man dressed as Super Mario has been arrested for groping a woman in New York City's Times Square. Listen, if you go to Times Square and you're a tourist, any person you see doing anything on the street, they're going to grope you. Stay the hell away from them. Throw some quarters in his shit.
Especially Super Mario.
Right.
So I told my wife, we were with her mom in New York, and I told her, Mom, don't take a picture with anybody in a costume. I don't care how cute they think you are. Even though you're a 50-some-year-old woman, just don't do it.
When the naked cowboy is the most reputable of the whole group, there's a problem. NYPD spokesman says 34-year-old Damon Torres of North Bergen was charged with forcibly touching on Wednesday. Forcibly touching. That's a charge.
It is. Remember that, Nick.
I forcibly touch a lot. As soon as I meet a girl, I'm forcibly touching her. Like, so how you do? Because I feel you have to like touch them to get that contact, like right off the bat. And I will be creepy. I'll be rubbing their thigh right off the bat, asking their name.
Man, you're bold.
Yeah, I need a Super Mario. I usually on mushrooms too, just like Mario. So it works.
If I see Mario in New York City, he better be fighting a monkey on top of a skyscraper.
Or popping in and out of the sewers.
Yeah, exactly.
Police said Torres blocked the 58-year-old woman's path. So Mario's sick of Princess Stolzel's young. He needs some Coug action going on.
58-year-old
Panther action.
Yeah, that's a saber-tooth tiger.
So Mario's princess was in another castle.
In front of 4 Times Square and grabbed her thigh before walking away. A woman notified police officers who arrested Torres at the famous tourist attraction. He was also charged with marijuana possession. So, what does that have to do with anything? Everyone in New York Times Square's got some weed on them.
Hey, that stone Super Mario just grabbed my thigh.
Have you ever hopped on top of a wart pipe?
So, be very careful in Times Square. Just stay away from any of the homeless or weirdos that they have.
I wonder what Wario is up to out there.
I know.
He was watching for the
butchers. All right.
He was just going straight to rape.
Have you guys seen any of this stuff? Like Pizza Hut in different countries, they have like weird shit. Like India, there's like a hamburger pizza that they do. Like
really?
Yeah, because Pizza Hut needs to fuck up every food and not just pizza.
It's
not enough to make
culture?
the worst pizza ever. They have to make the worst everything. This new pizza they have is insane. It is a pizza named the Double Sensation. It's 2 pizzas in one. The outermost crust is stuffed with melted. And I'm saying this because Chris Clem, you might want to get to Singapore. You might really like this. You should watch them. They have good Thai wrestling there too, so you can really go into a hole for a while there. It's stuffed with melted mozzarella, Parmesan, cheddar cheese. Of course, anything Pizza Hut makes has to be crust stuffed with cheese in it. They stopped making pizza and started getting into the cheese crust business a long time ago. The outer pie is topped with turkey, ham, bell peppers, mushroom, and salsa. And it's a mess. It looks like when you take something to a party and you have a platter of different foods, you know? That's exactly what it looks like, but it's all one dish. There's zucchini on this damn thing.
All right, that's a little healthy then.
Yeah. Foreigner, you got a little green.
Get some vegetables in there, make it a full.
That's why foreigners suck, because they ruin shit. They can't just have a good fatty pizza that's got awful stuff in it. They got to put a zucchini in it, too.
Can't be 100% saturated fat.
Bullshit. There's probably chickpeas and shit in there, too. The inner crust is filled with chicken, sausage, and cheese. And then the pie is topped with smoked chicken, zucchini, and a pepper Alfredo sauce. Do they know what a palate is? And there's a certain point where you got to have like a... Your tongue can only define so many flavors at once.
The way you put that, it does look like a deli platter at a party.
It looks like you dip it in the middle.
Right,
There's a bread bowl in the middle.
Right. Luckily, it's Pizza Hut, so all those flavors together will just taste like grease and crap. Fucking Pizza Hut's awful.
And you'll shit it out in an hour.
It's guaranteed to give you diarrhea, no matter what they put on it.
And then there's a cherry in the middle of the whole thing, because why not?
Nice.
You
A
put everything
cherry?
else on
As
there.
in the fruit cherry?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Now, this isn't a witty Huffington Post quit. And the Insane Pizza, to end all Insane Pizza, is only available in Singapore through the end of December. So if you're in the Singapore area at the end of January, stop on down to your local Pizza Hut pizza.
Coming to America, never.
Never. We have this thing called the FDA. It's not
They shut it down.
They're not even letting that pass through.
It's $21.75 for a 10-inch pizza.
Oh, that's a
How much is that in Singapore?
Yeah, exactly.
Like thousands?
Well, I think actually our economy is probably way worse than that.
Oh,
it's probably $5 for them.
Right.
And then the $27.49 for a large 13-inch. And it's Christmas stuff. I think they do weird stuff in other countries for Christmas. I'm starting to think that not everyone uses Christmas trees.
You got to get that Christmas deli platter pizza.
Exactly. So, hey, Singapore, if you're not down there to rape boys, go get some pizza.
Or spray painting cars and get canned for it.
You know, it's funny, actually. Here's another piece of Tough Scene Cleveland news or trivia. CJ Gagne, who's on our show often, is actually cousins of Michael Fay, who was the kid that was beaten with the Singapore with the cane. Yeah,
no
that's
kidding.
CJ. Yeah, CJ's cousin.
No kidding. Wow.
So we have
a lot of connections here.
Tough Scene Cleveland is really connected to famous acts of violence against family members.
My grandpa Ludwig von Wolfein used to work. He was a camp director in the 40s. That's all I really know about him. The records are. He lives in Argentina. He kept on trying to get to America, but this thing called OSHA wouldn't let him in here. But so I lost you. The racism really took me out of it. All right, and our next big story, our last story here, and then we'll get on with we'll wrap it up here. We'll finish with the rest of the history of mankind and a little bit more with Chris Clem. But 1.2 million years of porn watched since 2006 on just 2 sites. With all the porn watching humanity's been doing, it's a wonder we've been doing anything else. We haven't! We literally have not! And the only thing we've done is create better ways to watch porn. Because all we've done is create the internet, and all that is for porn.
Right.
So tablets...
High-speed video.
Right. Yeah. Tablets mean I can go into Def Jeff's bathroom and be jacking off in 10 seconds. Done. No one will know. And that's all I actually have something, not just staring at the wall like a freak. I'll be watching.
At the flower pattern?
Well, the search engine pornwatchers.com released a report that claims people have watched 1.2 million years worth of porn since 2006. And that's based on data from just 2 sites. YouPorn and X-Hampers are so no Pornhub. They're not even. It's just YouPorn and X-Hampers.
Wow.
I go to those every once in a while. No Pornhub, no Bang You Later, no, what are the other?
I like Xvids.
Xvids, yeah, I mean, these are just 2 of the more popular sites, but...
YouPorn's totally free. It's like YouTube of porn.
Yeah, okay. But the quality's hit and miss on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't bother with. If I wanted that, I'll just answer some of the emails I get on Facebook about like, I'm really lonely. Check out my profile. Like, it's
click on this.
So I want to steal your credit card information.
Yep. YouPorn was the first big one though, because everybody's like, I wonder if they have YouTube for porn.
Right. Basically the same thing.
Some genius just renamed it. YouPorn.
YouTube is a step down from porn.
Right.
Hey, YouTube has plenty of softcore girls kissing
videos. Yeah, there's
and
some weird
stuff.
On ours,
shaking their booties.
On the Sassy Steph episode, there was when it came up, there was a link to a video of like Asian girls wrestling, but it's creepy. Like they're not wrestler girls. They're like in bikinis, and these guys are standing off camera yelling at them to wrestle, and they're like just holding each other. Like, it's really creepy and weird. Like, now, turn her around! Turn her around!
I didn't get a chance to hear that one yet. Did you ask her if anybody's offered for her to do that? Because I guess it's a big thing with female independent wrestlers is that guys will just pay for like fetish videos of chicks just.
You know what? No, I didn't.
Yeah, and they'll do it with regular girls
Chris
that aren't
Clem,
even wrestlers.
That's why we needed you here for that. I dropped the ball. I will have to ask her that. I'll hit her up
That's
on Facebook
how
and ask her.
she's not a wrestler, but SoCal Val from TNA. That's how she makes the majority of her living is fetish wrestling videos.
Hey.
Different strokes for different folks.
And it's like, they don't have a problem. They're like, there's no nudity or sex. Go for it.
It's like, mud wrestling.
See, even hardcore
it's the same-
porn's
it's
too
the
boring
same
for
thing,
me.
yeah.
I need something that it's just like, or the second of orgasm, like over and over and over. Like I can't even handle any sort of like preemptive, any sort of build up to porn
That
anymore.
is the
I just
worst
want to see
thing-
explosion on the girl's face, basically.
That is the worst thing about porn is that people can say what they want, but it does desensitize you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just me getting older. I know when I was younger, it was like I could just look at a picture of a girl.
Oh, she's not moving. It's just a picture.
in a bikini, and I'd get aroused. And now it's like you said, it's got to be straight.
Right. And you have
Oh, that's just a
or
picture.
else I'm just
those
like,
girls that are all wild, like I'm so crazy, like you don't even know what I'm going to do to you. What's your craziest thought? Well, first I'd like to smack you over the head and throw you in my trunk for a while. Then it's gonna get weird. All right, I want to put a Ronald Reagan mask on your face, and then tie you up in my bed and I have this mold where I fill it up with ice, and I want to. They're about 16 inches long, 5 inches diameter. I want to shove both of them like in a symmetrical pattern in both orifices. Don't worry, that's foreplay. Like they're running away.
Right.
How do you feel about cages? The diaper play, is that cool with you? Like, cause you start watching porn from the time you're 14. You just like really
Like, how can this be
awful
different
stuff.
now?
Yeah,
Right.
Like I
I
said,
mean, at least for people that are my generation or older, when they started getting on the internet, there was no videos because the bandwidth couldn't handle
right?
it.
Yeah.
And women can't keep. Women think they're wild and stuff. It freaks them out when they really like the stuff that we know now to watch and stuff. One of my best relationships I was ever in, I think, got ruined because of Max Hardcore. Because when I started dating this girl, I was really into watching Max Hardcore. And she was game the first couple times to really be wild and I mean Max Hardcore, the one girl was like blowing snot bubbles of his chick. Just crazy stuff like that. And it was cool. But she started hating me really quick. She's like, can't you just have sex with me like a normal person? I'm like, no, show me, you bitch. We'll both die. It's a fine line between sex and being a serial killer.
Here's a good one for you guys. I don't remember the name, but they have a female wrestling porn where the loser gets fucked by the winner with a strap on.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, I see
I don't
those.
remember
Yeah.
the name, but
I mean, I'm cool.
That's like the
it's kind of bringing two worlds together.
That's the
right?
Divas Championship, isn't it?
No, that's before they have the match. Whoever doesn't have sex with McMahon or Johnny Ace, that's how they get hired.
That's the women's wrestling. Like, I respect it and all, but the Divas, especially in WWE, I don't want to be in any place where I feel any sort of sexual feeling while I'm watching wrestling at all.
Yeah, that's
like
kinda
I
weird,
got a hard on from AJ skipping around. Oh yeah, there's Kane. Great. That's what I want to see. So there are 700,000 videos on both sites that combine 22,000 videos edited every month. God, I can't jack it fast enough. I gotta keep up. I quit my job.
And those responses are only the people that admitted it.
Right, exactly. It's all the other millions of people. People also apparently like to talk about the videos they're watching. There are more than 7.5 million comments posted under. I've never heard anyone post about their porn at all. Like people kind of keep that to themselves.
No, those sites have like comments, and they're always like,
on those sites.
like, what's your number so I could fuck you?
I'm sure
or
it's
stuff.
gripping. Yeah, there's a lot. There's reviews going
Or like,
on.
I like this video so much I came 4 times. Like the people in the video are gonna see those comments and feel good about themselves.
Oh, great!
All right, I'm really doing great in these.
So, in the last story, the hippies are really, or the Democrats, as some people call them, are really giving it all the way here. Pot, everyone's smoking pot and marrying dudes, I guess, now is the big thing that we do. I guess Seattle Police Department loosens a rule on marijuana for recruits. So not only care if you smoke weed, cops can smoke weed too. It's cool.
That's what they're saying here?
Dude,
They're gonna have to.
You
It's
know
legal
how fast
now.
you were going? Officer, I'm sorry, man. You know how fast you were going? Officer, you know how fast you were going?
Dude, you were going like 60.
That was fast as shit. It's not gonna work.
They were only going 30 miles an hour.
Previous pot use cut from 1 year to 3 years. How's it cut if it went from
That's an increase.
I went from 3 years to 1 year. Let's see. New rules follow state legalizing recreational whatever. Fuck you, Huffington Post, you son of a bitch. It's a person. A month after Washington became the first state in the nation to legalize marijuana for adult recreational use, the Seattle Police Department has relaxed its rules on previous pot use for job seekers. Going forward, applicants must not have used marijuana for at least a year. So you got to give up the pot for a year. I'm going to fucking stop smoking
Prove
pot
to
for
them
a
you
year.
can give it up, then they'll let you do it.
Right.
Yeah, well, there's no rules once you get through.
If you can quit for a year, then it's not a gateway drug for you.
I
right?
wonder if you were in the police department, if you take a piss test and think you fail, if it will take 12 days to find out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how I know that's how long it takes.
It probably takes them a while, I would bet.
You gotta be careful when you have a job. You can't fail a piss test.
No.
Right? No, that wouldn't be good.
You got to know how to pass them. You got to study.
Let's see. Going forward, applicants must not have used marijuana for at least a year before joining the force. The change was spurred by Washington's groundbreaking vote last month to legalize recreational use of marijuana. We just have to do a good job protecting the city, but we have a group of people who resemble the people we protect. So he's basically saying, all you can get is stoners. This is Seattle. You only live here because you're a fucking hippie. Because anyone that's not a hippie could not stand being here for a second. So
they smoke pot on the sidewalk there, don't they? I mean, it's,
yeah.
Well, that's part of they weren't arresting that for that anyways.
Right.
And said the department was
But that is only fair, though. If that's the law, you got to let the cops go by that, or else why would you give up one of your rights? Like, if you're legally allowed to
get shot on the street by some asshole over a $20 bag of crank thing arresting him for.
Well, what it's turning into is these companies aren't hiring people who don't smoke pot. They're just hiring people who know how to pass drug tests.
Yeah.
So, right there, if you can do that, you can work there, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it hard to pass a drug test?
No. It's pretty easy. You just quit for a year.
Right, exactly. That's all you got to do. All right, and that is the news. Huffington Post. Chris Clem. Oh, no, wait. And then my last thing. I'm sorry. One more story. This might be kind of gripping me. Friday's the end of the world. One person who doesn't believe it is George Norrie.
My man.
He's pretty sure life will go on, even if it will be filled with controversy over government and everything that's going on in the world. There'll still be the world. The government will still be trying to kill us all, but the world will go on.
I liked his quote. I think it's from this article. He said, well, I think it's a process, so it won't end on Friday, but I don't think things are getting better.
Right.
Is what he said.
I'm a staunch believer that no matter what kind of roller coaster life we may be on, we're going to be here. It's not going to be rosy or a smooth ride, but we're going to make it. And one of the things I always say is we're in this together. All right, we're doomed because I don't believe a damn thing this guy ever says on this show. And if he's agreeing with me finally, I feel, what the fuck? Can't we agree on something less critical than the annihilation of the whole planet? But we're going to make it, and one of the things I always say is we're in this together no matter what, says George Norrie, the host of Coast to Coast AM. Too bad Art Bell, the world didn't feel that way about Art Bell.
I think he's living a good life now. He still gets the rights money from that show, and he's married to like a Filipino chick that's 30 years younger than him.
Isn't he like hiding though?
Oh yeah. But I mean,
but he's
Woody Bulger lived a good life too, but it all came down on him eventually.
That's true.
Any calamity that might occur doesn't affect one, affects us all. Okay, come on, Norrie. This is pretty. Come on, great. He doesn't
want to say the world is fine. Don't listen to the show tonight.
Obviously, Coast to Coast AM captivates our listeners with discussions on news, current events, with heavy dose of UFOs, ancient aliens, conspiracy theories, alternative medicines, life after death, and all things curious and unexplained. So, I guess, listen, if it makes you feel better, old George says, don't worry about it. We're going to be okay. So, Art Bell says, get the fuck off the ship. We're fucked. This Mayan calendar is stupid to me anyways. It's a circle. It's not even a calendar. We're just looking at like an old shield and thinking there's something about it. It's completely
they have
stupid.
I don't know if it's a reproduction, but at the museum in New York, the natural history, they have that there, and I was looking at that, and it's pretty impressive to see the the skill involved with the crafting of it, but at the same time, I wasn't like, this is going to tell me for sure what's happening.
You looked at it, you're like,
right
oh
now.
shit.
It's like that show on Nickelodeon. What was that show on Nickelodeon?
I mean, it's creepy looking.
Where the kids had to compete in like
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
the freaking
Olmec,
Temple guy.
yeah.
I saw a good one. They showed the Mayan calendar thing, and then they showed Oreo. And it looks pretty similar.
So that is the news brought to you by Huffington Post. We learned nothing.
Humanity in Review?
Right, Humanity Review.
What's the Red Monkeys up to on Legends of the Hidden Temple? The Blue Jaguars. I'm probably getting the colors wrong.
So we're gonna. The Dark Ages were bad, but we learned how to kill a little better. The English, Spanish, and French started the battle royal of all battle royals, starting a navy. A grand tradition of fighting on the high open seas and men being trapped on boats for years and years together in close quarters. No big shot.
We needed that.
That the English and Spanish and the French started that.
Didn't the United States end up winning that? Took a while,
showed them
but
new things, right? And it's basically when these countries became really big and really colonized the rest of the world until the English fucked up and fucked with goddamn Boston and pissed them off and tried to charge them to ship slaves and tea and shit over. And well, okay, I know Boston didn't deal with slaves. I'm trying to be the whole point about our country at that time, where we decided all men should be equal and free except for the blacks for a couple hundred years.
Because Boston is a shining example of equality among the races.
In Boston, you end a Red Sox game an inning early, and you're gonna have the same revolt that happened. It's just always going on in Boston. We fucked their asses up, and my main man, Monroe, came along and said, get the fuck out of our continent. We own America. You can all get the hell out of here. And, oh yeah, Liberia in Africa, I'm naming a city after myself, and we're shipping our black people back there. No, Monroe actually wanted to build a capital to slaves, so the slaves could have a free whatever, you know, their
slave country.
Yeah, but you know,
that's like the most violent country in Africa now.
I know. That's how America does things. We start all these great places that we help out until Cuba, a wonderful country that we help build. All of South America.
We're still the best. That's all right.
You know, all these countries that we didn't allow to grow drugs to support, like marijuana, to support their economies, and we just decided to legalize it for the hell of it. Like after 30 years of fighting brutal wars with these countries, or actually supplying, starting wars with all these countries,
using them to buy guns off of us.
So, America came around and revolution happened, and next thing you know, all of Europe's going fucking crazy. This little motherfucker Napoleon's conquering places, pissing everyone off. Them and the English are fighting each other. Fucking America, Washington D.C. gets burned down, and eventually, English, the Spanish, and the French would all get their asses whooped by us in different ways, and we would be kings, and everything would be great until World War II. Sure, there was a little bit of a depression, a little Dust Bowl thing because of our agriculture.
Yeah.
Our country almost completely folded, actually, at the beginning of this century. I believe there were about 3 doomsdays in 1930, between 1930 and 1950, too. The world was supposed to end also.
Mayan calendar things.
Yeah. And their skies were turning black, and they were dying of iron lung, and it still didn't fucking happen. So we survived. And then after World War II came, we kicked the Nazis' asses, and then the most important thing, I think a day they'll live in infamy to all of us, we were close to achieving all of our dreams. A cold, brutal day on the coast when, in his own territory, this evil bastard, John Elway, marched his way out the fucking field and destroyed all of our childhoods for the rest of our life. Fuck the rest of the world. That's what really matters. Was the goddamn day we were fucking screwed the first
time. Look at Bernie now.
Right, and we all learned how to be losers. And that's something we can take from the Romans, Jesus, and English, Spanish, and French. Is how to be losers, because they all failed at once. Jesus, no matter how great you are, you eventually lose. The Romans are just basically priests now. There's no even country named Rome. It's a stupid city.
Right. The Vatican City.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Jesus,
sovereign land,
ended up on the cross. That's not a real city. They don't have like Starbucks and shit there.
I know.
Their Mario's not groping ladies on the streets. The priests are.
Well, technically, isn't it its own sovereign land inside of Italy?
Right. Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, I think it's its own country. I don't know too much about it.
I don't know what their flag is.
I don't know much
It's
about
Washington, D.C. of Italy.
Yeah,
Countries that are not us.
basically. Except for it's technically not in charge of the country, but
Right.
it might as well be.
Right. They just can't. Yeah, well, they can keep criminals if they really need to. Like
They hide child molesters
Right.
there in the basement.
yeah.
Yeah, in a spider, according to South Park.
And between American being founded and the drive, McKinley, Abraham Lincoln.
That's pretty much the two most important events: America being founded and the drive.
Right.
If there's anything you should take away, whoever's listening to this after the world
That's
ends.
all you need to worry about. Then in Cleveland, their football team lost.
I love how John Elway is like the yuppie announcer, rich guy, got his shit together now, and Bernie Kosar's just the drunk on the phone.
That's all you need to know, and that's basically
That's the story of Cleveland, you know?
The story of Cleveland and Denver, really.
Yeah.
So,
and they're smoking pot there now. What the hell?
Yeah,
they win everything.
rubbing it in our faces.
God, I hate Denver.
John Elway is not getting loaded and calling into a local sports talk radio
No,
show.
he's not. But who's the winner in that? I like to think that we're better off than those fucking rats.
I'd rather have our quarterback be doing commercials for Drug Mart than owning a chain of successful car dealerships.
And doing commercials for Rent-A-Center.
Yeah.
And during our period of time, we had a lot of great people. Abraham Lincoln, shot in the back of the head. John F. Kennedy, also civil rights and, all that, boom, shot in the head. His brother, who attacked the mafia and organized crime and unions, and a lot of corruption was going on, shot in the head. Jim Morrison, amazing poet, drug overdose. We've had a lot of great people. Bradley Noel decided that he was going to do one more shot because his album was coming out and he was going to be a big star. Who else? What other great American? Martin Luther King, shot. Dead.
What? That's the problem. We haven't had any famous people being assassinated in the last around.
Shut up, there, Jeff! How dare you?
Yeah, that'll get everything back on the right track.
That'll put everything in perspective, and people.
Who do you nominate for that?
I don't know.
There's no iconic musicians anymore,
right?
Like
and
that.
even musicians are getting shot.
Right.
Dimebag Darrell can't even die of a drug overdose like a musician
Yeah, he's got to get
should.
shot on a stage.
That was a while ago now.
So I like to
Yeah,
say
it
in
was.
2,000 years, we've really learned how to fuck and how to shoot and how to kill people better than any other race. The dinosaurs did not know how to make this, and they weren't on YouPorn.
Yeah,
okay?
that's exactly. How many hours of video did they watch on YouPorn?
We've been on YouPorn more than they existed.
That's a good point.
It's been a fun rise. We've seen empires rise and empires fall. We've seen the inventions of sex involving all holes and even some holes that don't even exist.
New holes.
We've learned ways to kill people without even being in 100 miles of them.
Right.
We now we're one step closer to having machines that just kill everything. So as being
They
barbaric
do.
culture,
Drones.
thank you, Jesus. Thanks for the 2,000 years of enlightenment that your reign brought us. Great. And if we all die, can I really say that if this is the last time you're hearing us living, obviously you'll hear the ruins of the Orby Sphere of Death when it's
Well,
4,000
God's
years
going to
from
play
now.
this in heaven for
Right.
everybody so they don't miss it. Or maybe
We
the
will
other
be
way around.
simulcast in heaven. Should we
In
all
hell.
die in the
You guys
rapture.
gotta check this shit out.
So that is the history of the world. You learn nothing. We know that. And that is exactly the goal here at Tough City Cleveland. Chris Clem, what do you got going on here? Give us another rundown of what you got. It's been great talking to you, man.
All right, yeah, it's been a blast being here. A lot of laughs, a lot of good knowledge for going over here. This is the stuff I never got to learn in college humanities.
We are. We're like we like to think that we are a babysitter, we're a college teacher, we're a friend, we're a lover, we're whatever people
And
need
your
us to
enemy.
be. A
All
pet,
at the same time.
You can just put food in front of your computer and yell at us every once in a while and shut up. Whatever you want us to be, Tough City Cleveland will be that for you, listener.
I'm
please.
pissed. I took humanities 1 and 2, no mention of John Elway, not even once. I feel cheated. Christmas week, I guess the week after Christmas, I'll be at the Funny Stop in Akron all week. 2 days ago, if you're listening to this, I was at Big Dog Theater, last show, Thunderlips. Check out thunderlipsbdt.com. I think that's the name of our website. To check out where we're going to be next.
Jeff fact check you for
Yeah. And,
I think that's it.
I also got, the only other thing booked right now is a big special show the 21st at the Funny Stop. That's our next podcast show. Pretty swell show number 9. The last couple have all been sold out, so definitely be there.
So you guys do yours live?
Oh, those aren't podcasts, though.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done live podcasts.
It's the people from your podcast.
Yeah. Me and Kirk, and we'll have everybody that's been on there has been on the show before.
What's the best way to get a hold of your guys and what you guys do with the Pretty Swell Guys?
On that, send us an email at prettyswellguys@gmail.com, or we're on Twitter at prettyswellguys. Everything's on our website, prettyswellguys.com. I'm on Twitter 24/7 at Chris_Clem. My website's not done, but I have a calendar. The address for that's too long to link, but I have a link to that on prettyswellguys.com. I got a lot of other dates, but those are pretty much the ones that I would like. If you're listening to this, those are the ones I would recommend coming to.
Gotcha. All right, well, hey, Chris, thanks for coming on. It was great talking to you about pro wrestling, comic books, goddamn, with the history of the world.
Oh, man, this has been a blast.
Fried chicken.
Yeah, right before you got here, Nick goes, "Oh, wrestling and comic books. All right,
Should be easy
research
enough.
done."
Right.
Yeah, I'm an open book. That's pretty much what I'm into.
So, let's January 22nd, Night of Icons. Now this class, Touchdown Cleveland podcast. Fuck you, pay me. The Dead Enders, possibly Zit Squatch. Andy Meredith. Gonna be Dan Brown.
Yes. John Hoffman.
TM Francis.
TM
and John
Francis,
Hoffman.
yeah. And that might be TM Francis's first show since he has hip surgery.
Hip surgery.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you break in with Tough Sin Cleveland.
With the show, yeah.
Right.
I don't see him walking before then. He might be doing wheelchair comedy. I'm not sure. but-
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He just had
They
hip
have
surgery.
ramps at
Yeah.
now this class, but they're not exactly. They're skateboard ramps, but we'll just push him up
Launch
one of
him up
those
out of
onto
the
the
stage.
stage.
The last time I did a comedy show at Now That's Class, the guy on stage threw a guy, not really a comic, but a guy threw a beer bottle into the audience because people were booing him.
Well, this I gotta say, like from what I've heard about, like now this class and you guys doing these gigs, some of these shows, I really don't know why the hell I booked comedy.
Jeremy,
I'm
if
scared.
Jeremy's
It's gonna
telling
be a
you,
bloodbath.
it's all right. Jeremy can handle it. Those guys will be fine. Andy will be fine. TM will be fine. I know I'll be fine.
It's gonna be a good time. January 22nd. I do own that place too. They love me there.
They have a great beer selection.
They really do.
It is a cool place. It's got good atmosphere, you know. And
Yeah, I love Now That's Class.
you're always going to see a fight. So
Yes.
right there, you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, and sometimes you might even be involved in it. I can't talk about that for a couple months,
Subpoena.
so yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay,
I honestly
sorry.
can't
We'll
talk
edit that
anything
out.
about that. Eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to tell you guys what's been going on with me. But there is some stuff going on. I can't get into right now, but eventually, I will have the whole story when it's a better time. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thanks to Chris Clem for coming on. If this is it, it's been fucking great. Telling fucking dick jokes and being an asshole and talking about stupid shit every week. More you girls could have fucking banged me when we were living. That's all I really want to say. You know, would it have fucking killed you? Shit. Now none of us are going to be fucking. We'll have like angel sex, but that's not, you can't get the real penetration feeling that way.
There's no ejaculation with that.
When you're
Right.
incorporeal, yeah.
So if we wake up tomorrow and the world's still here, and you're listening actually when this is on, the world's still here, take it upon yourself to bang me. This is your second chance, ladies of America, to bang me. Don't let the Armageddon take away this once a lifetime opportunity.
Call Nick.
Right. So, Dustin Cleveland, we will be back next week. Def Chef, you got anything else? You want parting words?
No, I'm good.
Okay. We'll be back next week. Jeremy Shearer will be back here with us. And we'll have Fuck You, Pay Me on the air. Chris Clem.
Thank you.
You guys have a great night. Thanks. It was friggin' awesome. We'll have you on again here too.
All right.
We'll keep in touch with you.
Quetzalcoatl, come take me away in your spaceship.
All right, remember, whatever you do, don't just stand there on the sidelines. Don't just bitch and be apathetic about how there's nothing to see and no fun going on in the city. Stand up. You want to be an entertainer, you want to say something, get out there and do it. Don't stand on the sidelines. Do it yourself. Take the initiative and be part of Tough Scene Cleveland. Good night, everybody. Subscribe to Tough Scene Cleveland on YouTube. Like Tough Scene Cleveland on Facebook.